Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Jason Lloyd is in today on Thursday. Jason, have you lost anything in the last hour?
I have not, but give it time.
G. Bush here as always. Have you lost anything in the last hour?
I don't think so, but this chair is hungry, so it always eats.
I will say twice this week when we were leaving the show, it's like, gee, your phone's here.
Yeah, between him and Steve, yeah, they get me together.
That's true. And I'm Adam the Bull, in case you just met us today. Here we are. We're ready to go. A lot to get to on today's show.
Including the elf. The elf won.
You double elf today.
So I double elfed you today. There you go. Get you some of that double elf. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The elf is on the field. That's staying.
Yeah, that's staying.
I mean, a lot of people.
I hate the elf.
A lot of people are saying
he loves you.
But the dog, the new dog logo kind of sucks too, doesn't it?
Well, the dog logo is so new. You can't really. Plus, I don't want to infuriate
the Browns are not
everyone.
great at logos. Let's face it.
I don't want to infuriate everyone within the first minute and a half. But the dog pound died with the old stadium.
It did.
Like, come on.
That's true.
Whatever sham they've got now.
Are you happy with the elf staying?
As long as you put something.
I don't like the new
It's an elf. What is so intimidating about an elf?
Man,
there's nothing intimidating about
if you're playing D&D, elves are very powerful. They're like orcs. Like, would you tell them?
True. Lord of the
Anthony,
Rings too. The elves are pretty badass.
The elves are badass. They're not playing around with you.
This guy doesn't look like a badass elf.
He looks like he's done something, but he don't know what yet. Yeah. He's not gonna tell you.
They need like a deranged elf on the field.
If they put the little guy from Game of Thrones on the field, I'll take that.
Tyrion.
Peter Dinklage?
I like
He's
that
not
guy.
an elf.
Great actor.
But I like that
He's
guy.
just a little person.
Okay, I like that guy. I'd rather him be on the field than the elf.
Little person.
And he's a great actor. But I'm not a big fan of the new dog logo either, but just people, speaking of pissing people off, you and I are both good at doing that. Lot to get to on today's show. We will get into how the practice squad filled itself out, make a couple of interesting moves there. We've come up with, mostly Mike and the guys behind the scenes, I think I sent him one also, some fake trades that would make the NFL, which is already exciting, even more exciting this year. So that and a whole lot more that we're going to get to today, plus the 32 and 32 continues with our, number 5 guy?
Number 5.
Should we say who it is, or you want to say
it's Amari Cooper, number 5.
There you go, Amari Cooper, number 5.
Number 2 on the field, number 5 on our list.
Yeah. So there's Mikey. Let's say hello to Mike for the first time today.
What's up, guys? You forgot one important topic today, Bull. This one was something you actually teased up probably 3 weeks ago. We've been saving for the right day.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which Cleveland rookie is the most hyped and has the best chance to turn into a superstar between DTR, DeJuan Jones, and Amani Bates?
This is the Garrett Bush special.
It really is.
There's a couple topics today that are Garrett Bush does not. I mean, listen, G. Bush is everywhere. He's on national podcasts. G, real quick, before we hop into stuff today, what was the reaction to your appearance on the Bill Simmons podcast yesterday?
People was, first of all, they was like, what the hell?
I saw that clip with Aaron Goldhammer from
ESPN. Listen, I break records. Now, I don't know, in the industry, there is an unwritten rule that you are not supposed to mention another person's name from another radio station. Which is like, hey, like we don't really mention people.
That's a lame rule that we have on 92.3 The Fan.
Oh, okay, maybe they just...
I should say had, in my case,
yes,
that they have.
Okay.
That's lame.
Now, I wasn't privy to all the rules. I just usually
But I think all stations operate that way.
Right, don't you
pretend that nobody else exists.
Right, you just do it like we don't. Yeah.
Some stations do. It's always been a stupid rule.
And so he reached out to me earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yo, I caught you on Bill Simmons. You was real good, man. I appreciate it. I don't know if we met, but I like your stuff, man. Really like your energy. Good work, right?" And I said, "Well, I did. I did kind of interview." Was an intern at KNR from 2010. When he was there? Yeah, he was there for 2010.
And he didn't remember?
Nah, he didn't remember who I was.
That's a bad job. Aaron, bad job out of you, buddy.
It's hard to forget G, too, because he's 6'4",
Right, it's not like he just got big now.
But here's the thing. Back then, when you was an intern at KNR, man, you had real jobs. Like, you wasn't no, like, let's hang around and get donuts. Like, we We was in like Rocky River. We was at all these different places.
I don't know that I can name every intern I've come across.
Yeah, there is a lot of them.
I could not name every intern that I've come across. I would know them by face, though.
Oh, I wouldn't.
And that's so he was like, oh, that's crazy. So he said on there, man, I didn't remember him. That's crazy. My bad, G. Bush. But anyways, it was dope, man. A lot of people reached out, said they really liked the interview, and they liked how it was I kind of talked about the climate. I told them that you can't really talk about Deshaun Watson without discussing Baker Mayfield, like the Baker saga and how it went. And I don't think a lot of people understood at one point in time, like Baker was not just Baker bros. We all had fell in love with. We thought we had a quarterback. So, I kind of detailed that with Bill, and he didn't really know it obviously because he's a national dude. But it was a really great conversation. It was dope. So if you want to check that out, it's pinned on my Twitter page at GBush91. You can check it out. Really, really dope interview, and it's till the end. So shout out to Bill for having me on.
There you go. That was very cool. And then you were on some other. You're all over the place. You were on some local podcast. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, yesterday I was on the
Cavs. Is truly the man of the people.
Cavs Hoop podcast. See, you can't just you can't be. Listen, I'm People's Champ. People's Champ can go on with Bill Simmons or Jason Whitlock or Chris Broussard, but I still got to show the love to the local people.
That's right.
We talk Cavs for about an hour on the podcast. That's up there too. Check it out. Shout out to Zach.
Yeah. There you go, Mike.
I also want to say thank you to G. He gave me a shout out on the podcast yesterday. Shouted out Emerson College. Yeah. I got so many texts yesterday, G, from people who I haven't talked to in forever, being like, Mikey McNuggets, Cleveland, Emerson. It has to be you. Is this you? Yeah, that is me. So I got G. Bush. Funny. So, G, I appreciate that, and it was a fun way to end. You killed it, by the way. You did a phenomenal job. And I have a super chat to read off the top here. And, G, it's for you. This comes from Julian Anthony. He says, yo, make sure G. Bush sees this. Congrats on the appearance with Bill Simmons. Huge fan of The Ringer. You're making big moves, man. Love to see it. So, Julian, we agree from back here. Everyone in Cleveland agrees. Continued success, and we are glad to have you as a staple.
Just know it won't get mentioned on 90
Sports. But here's the thing, though. Like, Bill talks about, like, he said, like, before the show, he said, man, like, I love that thing. I love what y'all doing up there. Like, he saw me on this platform. He said, man, a bunch of you guys that, like, I love what you guys do, like the way we had the format and the way we talk. So, I got recognized for being on here. So it's like, shout out to UCSS. Like, we really moving. It just shows you a lot of national people is definitely, and he knew Jason Lloyd too, because he's a big hoops guy. So he was like, oh, I know Jason Lloyd. We talked about LeBron a little bit in there too. So shout out to everybody and shout out to Bill.
He's a big Celtics homer for those. I'm sure most people know that.
Yeah. He made his money from being a homer. That's crazy.
That's
right?
true. A lot of people have.
Right.
Should we start naming names?
Nah.
Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
We got a lot of stuff to get to, and let's start today, Bull, with some of the Browns' moves yesterday. They claimed a defensive back from the Chiefs. They let go of A.J. Green. They signed 3 new players to the practice squad: Alex Leatherwood, P.J. Walker, and a kicker from Arizona whose first name is my last name, Lucas Havrisik.
Oh, I didn't even realize they claimed a kicker off.
They did.
Somehow, not claimed, but signed one to a practice squad. I somehow missed that move. Don't they still have one spot open?
They do still have one spot open. They have those 3 I just named. They brought 12 guys back from the cuts who did not get claimed elsewhere.
Right.
Cade York was the only guy who had a chance and decided to sign elsewhere.
He wanted to go somewhere else, which I don't blame him. If you're Cade York, why would you want to stay here?
So where do you want to start?
You just got cut. Doesn't make any sense. Well, to me, first of all, you mentioned to me before the show that the kid they claimed from the Chiefs, what's his name? The DB? Can't pronounce his name.
Khalef Hailassie is, I believe, how you pronounce it.
That's why I write and don't talk.
He's more of a man corner as opposed to A.J. Green, who's more of a zone corner. And so that's why the Browns were interested in replacing A.J. Green, because the Browns are going to run a lot more man this year.
Shout out to Tyvus. Tyvus had this right, but we talked about it. It was like, if they have to pick somebody up, who is it going to be? A.J. Green? And he was, A.J. Green, he didn't play very well. It looked like he was injured a little bit. So Tyvus called this one out yesterday.
I do think the P.J. Walker move also, Jason, is interesting, because even though DTR is the backup quarterback, and not that I'm thinking anything special with P.J. Walker, but at least he's a guy who's played in the league a little bit.
Yeah, he's an upgrade over Kellen Mond, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what you're going for there. Obviously, you're carrying a rookie as your backup quarterback.
Yeah.
PJ's got a little bit more experience, so if something does happen to Deshaun where he goes down, you do have someone, a veteran who knows the league a little bit. Obviously, DTR would step in as the starter at that point.
Right.
But then, I don't know what you want, two really young green guys back there.
Right.
If this works the way they think and DTR is the backup for the future, you don't really need another really young, inexperienced quarterback. So it makes sense. I understand why they do it. I don't know if P.J. Walker's any good, necessarily. If you're looking for him to save your season, you're probably sunk. But I understand why you'd make that move. And Kellen Mond should have known the first time he got released.
Yeah.
His time here is probably going to be brief.
Yeah, as far as I've seen, I haven't really looked this morning. I don't think anybody else has picked up Mond, right?
Has
Kellen
not
Mond?
been picked
No.
up.
Yeah. A couple of other notes that are interesting. Alex Leatherwood was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Now, he was a total bust. It wasn't even like, one good year, one bad. No, he's had no good years.
He's been an abomination. Like,
He's been horrible.
as bad as you could be.
However, I'll say this. Again, it's a long shot. Nobody's expecting him to do anything. You got probably the best O-line coach in the league. Now, that hasn't helped Jedrick Wills that much. And this is a practice squad edition, so there's zero risk. Obviously, there's some potential upside with this guy. He was drafted in the first round. You'd think there'd be it. So, it seems like an interesting move. It'll probably never matter.
But bring him in and kick the tires.
Yeah,
See if there's anything
Let Bill
there.
Callahan take a look at him and see if there's anything that can be done with him.
Is there any way we can sign him to a lifetime deal? Can we just be like, look, even if Stefanski gets fired, Bill Callahan
I would think so.
is the offensive line coach for the rest of the time until he's dead.
Bill Callahan's old enough at this point. He's probably not looking for another head coaching job.
No.
I don't see any reason why they probably pay him well for a position coach. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't just stay here to the rest of his career, I would think, But who knows?
It depends. It depends on the head coach, depends on those relationships. The head coach may have somebody he likes and want. You just never
one thing
know.
I would say, though, is his son is the Bengals OC. And you wonder if his son eventually gets a head coaching job, would he go with him?
Sure, yeah.
Go ahead,
Two
Mike.
things real quick on Leatherwood. When Jed Wills was at Alabama playing right tackle, do you know who the Crimson Tide's left tackle was?
Leatherwood.
Alex Leatherwood.
Isn't it interesting that those great Alabama that both tackles from that team are? Jedrick Wills, I'm not going to say is a bust.
I'm telling
but he's
you,
not been
And,
very
and
good.
speaking of Jed Wills, real quick, the Browns also restructured his contract this morning to save about $1.5 million.
Yeah, they've
just want to mention
restructured
that.
now like
Not a
5
big deal,
contracts
but
here.
Just want to mention it.
Go ahead. You want to defend Jed Wills?
I think we're piling on a little bit onto Jed Wills. I don't think he's as bad as what we've made him out to be. He's not elite, but the way that he gets talked about here, it's like he's a bust and a terrible player. And
But
I
Jason,
don't
he was
think that's the
drafted
case.
in the first round. He's been a subpar player. He's not
average.
awful.
He's average.
Is he though?
Yes, I think he's average.
Well, what are we basing that on?
I mean, he's not getting guys killed. He's not getting guys killed.
I don't
He's
know,
not. I don't
man.
think. I don't think
to
he's.
me-
I don't
To-
think he's
to me,
as bad.
To me, he's a below, he's below average to average. Now, if he would pick up his effort, he would be fine. It's just them plays where he just don't.
That's what's infuriating.
That's what gets
It's
you a
those
little
3 or
bit.
4 plays where you're like, what is he doing? He's not even moving, and that's what infuriates you.
And that's what kind of.
And I think that's what stains the view of him,
Yeah.
or alters the view of him. Ultimately, I don't think he's nearly as bad as we make him out to be. I think
You
he's
want
an
to sign him
average
to a
left
big
tackle.
extension?
It depends on what else is out there.
Yeah.
It's such a hard position to fill. I think he's average. It's not his fault he was picked where he was. Like, you expect more out of him for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not what he is. I think he's an average left tackle. You can do a lot worse. You can have a lot worse over there than what they have.
I don't know.
I'd wager that I could get me. I want to play like next year. I'm working DeJuan Jones out the whole year. Like, listen, you're gonna be working left tackle. Because here's the thing: if you're gonna pay him, he's gonna be a free agent. What type of money is he gonna be commanding? That's a left tackle. That's a premium position, and he's a first round pick. So, like, are you gonna give him 19, 20 million a year?
I don't see how you can. Plus, you're spending a lot of money on both guard spots and right tackle right now.
So you would probably have to move one of the guards to sign Jed Wills, and I just don't think.
Yeah, well, we'll see. That's another story for another day. we'll get to that later. Anything else? One note, I believe Demetric Felton is going to sign with the Bengals practice squad today. You wonder if the Bengals, if they're just doing that for intel. I don't know if teams really do that.
They don't care about the Browns.
Yeah, fair enough.
They don't. No.
Even if they knew what they were running, like stop it.
And the Bengals kept 4 running backs on their active roster, so he'd be their fifth right? I don't think they have.
But it's the return game, I think, that is appealing to teams. The fact that he can return.
And he can play a little receiver, and he can catch the ball. He's versatile. He just doesn't.
I can't imagine he's ever getting on the active roster unless they have a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
But I guess you never know. Go ahead, Mike.
2 things on the practice squad I want to ask about, then we can move on because we have some other pressing topics to get to. First and foremost, we talked a little bit about it yesterday, both towards the end of the show, but Jason wasn't here and G didn't get a chance to chime in. But 12 players they brought back, Cleveland brought back, went unclaimed by their teams. No waiver wire requests for Austin Watkins, among others. Are you surprised none of the guys got picked up?
No.
Well, Bull predicted it.
I said nobody would claim Austin Watkins. And I said that nobody would claim Cade York, and they didn't. There weren't that many players claimed.
23 in total.
That's not a lot. I mean, how many players were on waivers? 500?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 40 times
Probably
32. Yeah.
You know, not some of them are veterans, so they don't go on waivers, but hundreds and hundreds of players and only 20. So there were 2 guys. One guy got claimed by 4 teams, and one guy got claimed by 3 teams. I never heard of either guy. But no, I don't like Austin Watkins. If he were a rookie and he did what he did in preseason, maybe there would have been some more interest. But he's been around the league a while.
They signed him like 45 minutes before their first practice. He was available for everybody.
I know. I just don't think. Yeah, and the rest of the guys, I didn't think Cade York was ultimately going to get claimed, which he didn't, because after how he played the back half last year and all the problems he had this season, I didn't think any team wanted to start the season with him as a kicker. Now, obviously, I thought teams would be interested for him in the practice squad because there remains potential. And I'm not surprised that Cade York went somewhere else. If I were Cade York, I would have gone somewhere else too.
And you don't listen. Hopkins said, "Look, this is one of the most toughest places to kick." He said, "This place is like, let's be clear, this is not an easy place to kick." And no kicker, I think, would choose if you say, "Hey, where do you want to go kick at?" I don't think they're beating down the doors.
No way.
So he's like, listen, I thought that was telling because he kind of gave Cade York a little bit of a nod, like, hey, bro, I kind of know what you're up against. And I'm not going to come in here and act like this is going to be easy.
September 24th, Tennessee at Cleveland. Is Cade York the Titans kicker?
Who is the
Titans? Just traded for Nick Folk. Just traded for Nick Folk 2 days ago.
This is an open competition.
So it's, I mean.
It's an open competition.
If Nick Folk is the kicker now.
Cade York easily could be the Titans kicker by September 24th.
But if Nick Folk sucks, then Cade York's going to get a shot.
Back in Cleveland on September 24th.
All it takes is him to hit a
lining up for a game winner in Cleveland on September 24th.
All it takes is Cade York to be lining up for he kick a 62, 63-yard field goal in practice, and they go right down the middle.
They'll be coronaries all over
They're going to be like, oh, my goodness.
Can you imagine him going down the dog pound doing the chomp?
Like he did he will. He's a talk crap type of guy. Yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yes, Mike.
One last thing I want to point out,
and
then we'll move on to Joe Burrow and the Week 1 game for the Browns. But there's only 16 practice squad spots. Not many teams.
That's quite a few.
Yeah, you
have 2 kickers. The fact that the Browns added a kicker to their practice squad, and I'm just asking. I'm not saying I even think this. Think they have some doubts about Dustin Hopkins?
Of course you do.
Yeah.
How could you not?
He has lost his job twice in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Of course.
And it's Cleveland. Like, he may get out here and lose all his confidence week 1.
Honestly, though, I think it's a waste to have a kicker on the practice squad.
Well, and that's why I asked, because it is
because you could just pick a guy up anyway.
No, I want him at the stadium kicking.
Yeah, it is a young guy, I guess. Where did this guy come from?
He played at Arizona.
I don't know. I still don't understand why Robbie Gould is not on the team, but there must be something there that we don't know about. I don't know what the hell's happening.
I like that.
Maybe Jay could ask him. Apparently, Jay and him are boys.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jay never told us how they.
Never.
Yeah, I meant to ask.
And he knows Feely too, don't he?
He knows everybody. Jay knows
he worked with Feely and covered Feely in Tampa, but I don't think he was ever in Chicago or San Francisco when Jay Feely was there.
You know, Jay. We met him at one of them dinner circuits. Jay got.
Yeah.
He be doing fundraisers.
Fancy people, you know.
He got black tie event. in Wichita.
The kicker the Browns signed, by the way, Lucas Havrisik,
Yeah.
according to ESPN, has never kicked a real field goal in the NFL.
Okay, well, get at the stadium, start kicking.
There
Well,
you go,
that's why you had him in the practice squad.
Maybe
so you
he'll
get
be
him
the
in the
next
building.
great kicker. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, Mike, let's switch things up here. Well, you got a read to do?
I do have a read to do,
Yeah.
and then we will talk about Bulls' number one love, Joe Burrow. If you have not already hit the like button and the subscribe button for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, I highly encourage you guys to do so. We really appreciate it. It helps us beyond what you can imagine, the YouTube algorithms, and I can't give you all the exact numbers, but this month has been a spectacular month
Monster.
for
Our
the
biggest
UCS
month
squad.
ever
Our
of the
biggest
Ultimate
month
Cleveland
ever.
Sports Show.
And it's because
of
you guys.
fans.
It's you guys who help make this possible, and to help us out even more, just click that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free, and I cannot emphasize enough how much it helps us on the back end in terms of the YouTube algorithms and putting our videos in front of new audiences. And it's because of you that we keep doing this cool stuff. We have a major announcement next week that I cannot wait to share with you guys. And from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of Anthony's heart, from the top of Director Steve's head, from Earl's bedroom where he's recovering from an illness
Jay's
right now.
sick, Earl's sick. It's,
From all of us,
Yeah.
we love you guys. Seriously,
Yeah,
you
we
may
do,
hate us
and
sometimes, but we do really love you.
like we said, like Mike said, I'll reiterate, it's been a record-breaking month for the show. We appreciate that. Mike alluded to a big announcement coming next week. I thought we would do it tomorrow, but apparently it's not till next week.
I just got to get maybe tomorrow. I just got to get the
Maybe
clearance.
too-
I'm not positive.
We're all really excited to tell everybody about this announcement, but we'll leave it there for now. Sorry, we just got to tease you with that.
Even my cold, dead heart is excited.
Yeah, look
at that.
Look at this
Jason's
slight,
got
look at the
nothing.
slight grin.
I've been dead inside for 13 years.
At least.
And I'm
At
excited
least.
about what's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on here.
It is really exciting news, which we will get to whenever. Okay, but for now, Mike.
For now, what Bull's excited about is this tag board I'm about to take. Steve, please take tag board full. Bull, you want to explain what this means?
So that Joe Burrow put out an Instagram post yesterday with a way too tight LeBron jersey, and you can see on the bottom it says, he's back.
Yeah.
Burrow, we talked about this yesterday, guys. That was the biggest story yesterday for Week 1, Browns-Bengals, was would Joe Burrow practice yesterday? He did practice. The media, now that it's regular season practice, the media only gets to see 30 minutes. But I was texting with James Rapien both before practice or after the first 30 minutes that he got to see, and then I texted with him and saw some of the other media members saying, because they were talking, apparently the players didn't even realize this was happening, because or unless they're lying, I don't know. But T. Higgins and Jamar Chase made it seem like they were completely shocked
That he came out?
Yeah, like they weren't. Yeah, they might not be on. Who knows? But anyway, the point is he did practice. Supposedly looked fine. I saw his leg. He didn't have a sleeve on it, so I thought that was interesting. So there was nothing there. Now, when you have a soft, an injury like a calf or a hamstring or a quad, whatever, there's always a concern that you can re-injure it, especially because a lot of times with those type of injuries, like the one he has, sometimes you feel 100%, and then maybe you go full bore in the first game, and it happens again, and then it's a disaster. But for now, as far as we know, Joe Burrow is fully healthy and is going to play when the Browns and the Bengals play the first game of the season for them 10 days from now. The season actually opens 1 week from today when the Chiefs play the Lions. Can't wait for that. But this is the last weekend without football, guys. When the line first came out on this game, back in July or whatever it was, maybe June, the Bengals were a 3-point favorite. It went down to 1.5 with the uncertainty with Burrow, but because it only went down to the Bengals favored by 1.5, Vegas assumed the whole time that Burrow was going to play. Otherwise, the Browns would have become favorites. The Bengals, as of this morning, were still a 2.5-point favorite in Cleveland. If Joe Burrow didn't play, the Bengals starting quarterback would be Jake Browning, who I don't think has ever taken an NFL snap. Can you double check that, Mike?
Jake Browning, NFL snap.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever taken an NFL snap, but I could be wrong. I would think the Browns would be favored by at least a field goal, if not more, probably more. The difference between Burrow and Browning has got to be worth a touchdown, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
And so, obviously, it's a totally different game now that we know for sure that Joe Burrow's playing. Well, your first reaction to this, G. Bush, when you saw this? Is there a little part of you that's happy because you want to beat the best to be the best, or are you like, well, this sucks because without him, we had a much – not that the Browns can't win. It's a toss-up game. But obviously the Browns' chances of winning are significantly higher with Jake Browning. Well, I might not even be saying his name right. I don't even remember.
He has never played an NFL snap.
Yeah, it is Jake
correct.
Browning, right?
Jake Browning, correct.
Yeah. He's never played a game in the NFL.
Here's the thing that I want to do. Like, if you're the Browns, you get confidence by doing what? Beating people who are guys that are somebody in this league. We just sat here and said for the whole preseason, oh, that doesn't count because they're third stringers, or that doesn't count because of this, that doesn't count because of that. You know what I'm saying? You've discounted things for like the whole summer. So now you get an opportunity to come in first game of the year against a top flight quarterback that's coming into your house where you trying to establish who you are as a team. So I want to get some clout off Joe Burrow. I want to get some stripes off him, because if you win that game, now the narrative is what? What are you gonna say? They came in here and they lost. So as a defense, and as a team, I would rather come in here. If Joe doesn't play, I'm sorry he didn't play. He tried to, whatever the case. I'm gonna still take that win. But when you talk about confidence building and different things like that, I like the fact that it is a Joe Burrow, and I want to see what the adjustment is. So the adjustment to me is, as I go back home and I watched how he got hurt, him rolling out and running is a underrated part of Joe Burrow's game. A very underrated part of what Joe Burrow can do is extending plays, running for first downs, different things like that. If I'm Jim Schwartz, I'm looking at this like, okay, well, I'm going to unleash Myles Garrett. I'm going to unleash Darius Smith. We're going to make him move off his spot. We're going to make him climb the pocket. We're going to make him roll out. We're going to get some pressures at this place or that place to make sure that he has to put that foot down and plant and explode to get out of harm's way. So now I'm looking at the chess match a little bit because, to me, the Browns need to come in. If they can stop the run with Joe Mixon, if they can get him to move off his point a little bit and get him running, I think that there might be something in the back of his mind. Am I healthy enough to really do that for game one? So that's my game plan, and I'm excited about the challenge.
Jason, the Browns don't play the Eagles this year in the regular season. They don't play the Bills. They don't play the Chiefs. So any other quarterback you were going to argue better than Joe Burrow. Certainly there's no argument Patrick Mahomes is the best. But the other guys that may be in the debate, Joe Burrow's the best quarterback you're going to face this year.
Yep.
And you're facing him in week one. You like that?
No, I wanted him out. You're trying to get to 10 wins, right? Like, you need 10 wins minimum.
Maybe 11.
But I'm counting to 10. You're not getting in with less than 10. Counting wins at this point. It was funny. I remember there was like conspiracy theory, not conspiracy, but just like people when the Warriors are going on their runs and people were saying like, they're the luckiest team. Like, look at who they played in the playoffs, and this team was without that, and that team was without that, and da-da-da. Hey, man, they still sizing them rings. They still get them rings. Like, injuries are part of the game.
Yep.
You still count the wins. Just count the wins. So, no, I wanted Joe Burrow. I was hoping the Bengals would sit him for week one and think, hey, we got a lot to play for here. We got a lot more than just week one. Let's sit him an extra week. Obviously, that's not the case now. He's going to play. But, no, if I'm a Browns fan, I don't want to see him out there. I'm just trying to get to 10 wins, no matter what it takes, however you do it. And no Joe Burrow makes it a lot easier to start 1-0. This franchise has won, what, 2 openers now? I think last year was the second win since they came back.
And a tie. 2 wins and a tie.
2 wins and a tie in 20-some. Like, just get the win. So, and that's not to say they can't beat Burrow, obviously, at home in week one, but it's a lot easier without him. So, no, I don't want to see him. No, give me the win.
That being said, with the Browns in a year with everything on the line and with a lot to prove, right? We've talked about the talent a lot, but the Browns have proven, this Browns team has not shown you anything yet. They haven't had an opportunity.
Right.
And they didn't do anything last year. So, obviously they have a better chance to win without Burrow. However, when the game's over, if the Browns win against Jake Browning.
Don't care.
No, I get it. Agreed. I agree.
1-0 is 1-0.
But if they win against Burrow, you're going to feel much better about the team than you would against beating
What's
Jake
I'm
Browning.
going to do my best Shannon Sharp. It don't matter. Like,
No, it does
don't
matter.
care. You got 16 games after the first
missing
one.
my point.
No, I'm not. You got 16 games after the first one to prove whatever it is you want to prove, to have whatever kind of measuring contest you want to have. Start 1-0. Start the season off right.
I get it.
At whatever it
I'm not
takes.
saying that you should want Burrow to play for that reason.
Yeah.
I'm saying if he does play and the Browns win, well, I shouldn't say if he does play. He's playing.
Yeah.
And the Browns win, you're going to be flying off that.
Are you 2-0 if he plays? Does it count as 2 wins or 1 win?
I think as a defense, what happens is you see those guys, and Joe Burrow's been playing at the last part of it. Any teams that's playing when it's still January out, you get a little boost from that. Now, you can't go out and win the next game because of that, but you can say, look, we got Kenny Pickett this week. That ain't Joe Burrow. They got Pickens over there. That's not Jamar Chase.
Right.
Deontay Johnson is not T. Higgins. So they go into that game, and now on a short week, it gives you a boost, right? Because it's going to be on Monday Night Football. It's a short week in front of national audience. If you can win that game against Joe Burrow, it gets you up a little bit more. Be like, okay, let's go out and get 2 in a row.
Don't matter. It don't matter.
I get it. I get what you're saying. But as a fan, you're going to feel better beating Joe Burrow than
Let me tell you,
beat
Browns
Jay
fans will feel just fine.
Yes.
at 1-0.
You'll feel great either way, but you'll feel greater beating Joe Burrow. All right. I forgot what I was going to say.
What were you going to say? Say it.
I can't remember.
Say
now.
it with your chest, Bull.
It's something to do with that win.
Oh, you're gonna
be.
Oh,
I know what I was going to say. If now, with knowing that Burrow's playing, now we turn to Denzel Ward.
Okay.
Because I'm expecting Denzel Ward to be back from a concussion, but you never know, right? You never know. It's not like a muscle injury because you don't know how people can react to concussions. But with Burrow playing, it's a much bigger deal. The Browns need Denzel Ward. You want all hands on deck when you face that offense.
Right.
And Denzel Ward now, because the focus was, not from a Browns perspective, but the focus nationally on this game in terms of injuries was on Burrow. Well, now it's not. Now it's on Ward. Because the difference between having 2 solid corners and 3 is a big deal when you're playing a team like the Bengals. Mm-hmm. So how concerned are you about Denzel Ward right now?
I'm not, because he got the game was on what, Saturday or Sunday? Or the Chiefs?
Sunday.
It was
So you had 2
No,
weeks.
the game was Saturday.
Saturday.
Chiefs
It was
game was
Saturday.
My
Saturday.
bad. You were right.
Bad
you got
job
2
out of
weeks.
you, Bull.
So you got 2 weeks with no contact, 2
Yeah.
weeks to get back ramped up where you're working out, running without any headaches or symptoms. They're not going to be hitting anybody. And this just goes to show you, if this game was against the Tennessee Titans, you might see a guy like Denzel Ward be like, who y'all got out there who I'm covering? Who am I covering again?
Traylon Burks.
Traylon Burks. No, I'm cool. Let go. G New and let me deal with them. MJ Emerson and shut him down. That's light. But you coming out there and it's the Bengals. They've been talking trash with the Bengals 2-3 years about who shut down who right. Better than who. And now when you got a guy like Jamar Chase out there who you're asking to shut down, now that's more of incentive. Now it's like, look, we need you out here because it's Jamar Chase. That's a challenge. And you don't want to be seen as a person that's like ducking away or shying away. You get a new invigorated sense of urgency. And guess what? It's Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Yes, he'll be ready because he knows what type of time we is. That's the great advantage of playing primetime opponents early in the season.
Mike, have we had an update on Denzel Ward? Has there been any update on him in the last 24 hours or so?
I have not seen any update on Denzel Ward. The latest that I've read is he's still in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
And they're going to proceed with caution.
Yeah,
Jason,
it's hard to predict, Jason.
I was at practice yesterday. And,
you were?
Yeah, and Kevin said, no update, still in protocol.
Yeah.
He was asked, when you have the number of concussions that Denzel's had, does the protocol change at all? And no, to the best of everyone's knowledge, it's still the same. There's no additional testing or anything. I mean, with concussions, I mentioned it in passing the other day, but you're a baseball guy. Justin Morneau's career was basically ended by concussions. And one bad concussion cost him 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
So until you kind of assume he'll be back.
Right.
But it's by no means a guarantee. All these are different. Everything is
right.
Every concussion is sort of its own in terms of recovery and timeline, and we just don't know. So you would hope that he'd be back. But man, you start getting up in the type of numbers where he's at with these. I don't think anything's a guarantee at this point.
Did you sense any vibe being there? Nothing on him?
No.
I mean, he's the only player where there's nobody else nicked up right now, is there? Well, I mean, obviously Taki and Anthony Walker haven't played much, but they're supposed to be ready to go.
Yeah.
As far as we know. So, I mean, the Browns come into this.
Walker was in pads yesterday. I saw him coming off the field. I didn't see Taki, but that didn't mean anything.
The Browns are in good shape, health-wise. I mean, again, it's unknown award because it is a concussion you don't know. I think we're all going to assume he's going to play until we see him not play. But the Browns got through this training camp / preseason in
relatively
good shape here.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt that that's a good sign. But
is there any relative? We did get through it, but are you concerned about any relative rust, especially defensively? No Delpit all training camp. No Myles Garrett all training camp. Pretty much no Greg Newsome. Pretty much no Denzel. MJ Emerson played the most.
Yeah.
Are you kind of concerned with, especially your two linebackers too?
I think it's fair to say that. On the other hand, I could say the same thing. Joe Burrow didn't play in the preseason.
Yep.
Chase and Higgins didn't play in the preseason.
Yep.
I don't know if Joe Mixon did. I don't think he did either. So most of their line played some, but for the most part, their Bengals didn't start on offense. Didn't play much at all.
Even they'll have to both work it out.
Right, exactly.
Week 1 is always wonky in the NFL. Like
it's the hardest week to predict.
There's
games.
more variables in Week 1 than any other. I think because sort of what we're talking about here with rust and guys really coming in for the first time. And there are some kinks to work out. So
what's funny is Week 1 is really the hardest week to predict in the NFL.
It is.
And yet people overreact to Week 1 as if that's what the team is all the time.
Well, that's the only thing you have to go off.
True. I mean, we all do it.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. Mike?
I have a read real quick, and I have a poll that I think is going to shock you guys. But first, whenever we ask the YouTube chat a question, it's brought to us by our dear friends at PCC Airfoils. If you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, well, PCC Airfoils is the leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more.
PCC is the OG of Ultimate Cleveland
Of the
Sports Show advertising.
UCSS
We love
sponsorship routine catalog. Excuse me. We have over 400 votes in this poll. I put it up as G. Bush said it earlier. Simple question: do you want to play against Joe Burrow in Week 1? Do you want him to play? Before I tell you the answer, what do you think the chat said?
It's impossible to know what the chat said.
85% said no.
I think
No. Go ahead.
76 say yeah.
I'd say very high say yeah because our fans are very confident right now.
Yeah, I would say
they're to the point of cocky,
say yes wins.
And I'm going to say 83 wins. 83 yes on Burrow. We all say yes on Burrow.
Okay, so maybe you can predict the chat. 79% of 322 votes say yes, they want to play Joe Burrow.
Y'all are crazy.
And one comment in particular. We want the smoke.
Okay.
We're ready for Burrow.
Okay.
Look, you know what? We've been telling them, right? How many times did we say we've been referencing the quarterback show, right? And what did Patrick Mahomes say?
Yeah.
It's a better matchup if Trevor Siemian or Browning play.
Yeah.
But we want Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
But we want Joe. So if they're doing a little virtue signaling. Like, if you think Patrick Mahomes was cool for saying that, how are we going to not have the same sort of standard?
There you go.
We want the smoke in Joe Burrow too if we want to go to the playoffs. But there is a small part of your mind that says, is that wise calling out Joe Burrow? I think if he wasn't hurt, I still think people think he's not going to be 100%. So if he was 100%, maybe the points are a little low.
Our fans are very confident right now, so I get it.
It's Week 1.
Yeah.
Every fan base of the league is confident right now, but if there's $1 on the ground, pick it up, baby. Pick it up.
All right, speaking of competition in the AFC, Mike, we're going to switch gears and go to that next.
We are. And you know what? I'm not even going to do a fast read because we have big numbers we just did one. But before we go on, Bull, this is not a fast read. This is for the people. This is for everybody out there.
Yeah.
The chat wants you to do something for them, Bull.
Yeah, what?
The chat wants to know, do you love the chat?
I love the chat. I love all you guys. I bust you balls because that's how I show my love. That's what I do with Anthony. That's what I do with Earl. That's what I do with Mike. That's what I do with all these guys. That's how I show my love, is bust some balls. So I love everybody in the chat. Even the ones who say I'm horrible, should be fired, hate me, I'm fat, want me to die of a heart attack.
Who said that? I'll go fight him. I'll go fight him.
Nobody said that recently, but there was actually a Jets fan once that I picked the Jets to lose when I was working in New York who said, I hope you have a heart attack and die.
That's crazy.
I have the first death threat I ever got on Twitter framed in my bedroom.
That's wild. That's wild.
I mentioned it before. I'll bring it in.
Yeah,
I forgot to tell
I like
you.
that.
Yeah, I got to bring it in.
All right.
It was my, no joke, and then we'll get on to the next topic. My first death threat was the I made it moment of my career.
Oh, yeah. Once you get that first death threat, that's no doubt.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. I have it framed. I'll bring it in. I'm not
going to say who. I had a prominent Cleveland sports figure. Someone emailed him or tweeted at him or something and said, I hope I'm the one who can unplug your son's ventilator and you watch him die. True story. How's that for messed up and dark?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's messed up. All right, let's get to the next topic. I don't even want to think about that, Jason.
How many people watching right at this moment right now?
1,868.
1868. We've been shattering records this week. That's not it. We're getting, we got to shatter the records we've set this week. We need a few hundred more people to get in there. So tell your friends, tell your cousins, tell your mom, get them all in here, and we appreciate everybody in the chat. All right, let's get to this. The competition in the AFC is tough. We've talked a lot about the other AFC North teams. But, Mike, today we're talking about the other teams in the AFC that the Browns might have to potentially battle with, maybe as a wild card or certainly if they make the playoffs in the playoffs.
Yeah, so how we're going to do this is I'm going to give you guys a team, and these are not the AFC North teams. Bull just mentioned we've done a lot of AFC North preview. We'll do our official picks next week, but this is just to get a little feeler out there for how we look at the competitiveness of the AFC. And Jason alluded to something in our pre-show meeting, and Jason, you never sent me that link, so I'm going to ask you to mention the projected win totals based on this simulation, and you can explain that. But let's start with the team who is the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, probably the biggest threat in the AFC, the undisputed kings of the conference.
Probably about it.
The undisputed kings until someone knocks them off.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Chiefs entering this season? Are they as good, better, worse than last year?
Do they still have Patrick Mahomes?
I do believe they still have Patrick Mahomes.
At worst, they're just as good. Because as long as they have him, they're going to be the favorites to win the Super Bowl pretty much every year. I've never seen anything like it. I think if he stays healthy, he's going to be the greatest football player that's ever lived. And the greatest football player that ever lived just retired in Tom Brady. There's no doubt in my mind that Patrick Mahomes will be the best player ever. I've never seen anybody this good, this quick. I don't even think anybody's been close. Maybe Dan Marino was close this quick. But so as long as he's there, they're fine. I mean, what have they lost? They lost their they lost one of their starting offensive linemen to the Bengals. They lost one of their starting safeties to the Browns. Did they lose anything else? Chris Jones is holding out.
I do have a proposed trade from a fan on Chris Jones if you want to hear that real quick.
Go ahead.
This is from Professor Chaos. By the way, we have 2 super chats. We'll get back to the Chiefs.
Didn't you mention this one yesterday?
No, it's a new one. A different one.
Oh, okay.
But Will Strong said Joe Burrow hasn't played anything against Cleveland yet. We'll get to this trade offer. This from Professor Chaos. Do you think the Chiefs would accept Denzel Ward, a 2nd and a 5th for Chris Jones?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just want to we're talking about Chris Jones. Figured we throw it out there.
The Denzel contract's going to become problematic with these concussions.
Yes.
It's not
G
going
and
to be
Jason?
Good very well. Go ahead, Mike.
How do you guys feel about the Chiefs?
I think they're good.
I mean, what's there to say? Until proven otherwise, they're the best team in football.
It's the Chiefs. Yeah. Like that's like you put them at the top of the food chain in the AFC, and they're great. They have the coach, they have the quarterback, they got the receiver. They should figure out the Chris Jones thing. They got a dominant defensive lineman, and they always find a running back. Isaiah Pacheco.
I thought he was good last year.
I thought he was great last year.
7th round pick.
Yeah. And here's the thing that I like about the Chiefs that other teams don't have. They've been relatively together so much that in September, when other teams are kind of figuring out because you ain't playing nobody in the preseason, the Kansas City Chiefs are already on week 1, ready to go. Everybody's on the same page. And one of the biggest advantages that they have is they actually write it down, make it clear that their goal is to get home field advantage. That's what they want. They live off that. Now, look, I would love to see the Kansas City Chiefs have to play 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. Would love it. But they come out, they get the first round bye, and now you got to go to the Arrowhead. I think other teams should have that same type of energy. And if they did, I think it would put the Kansas City Chiefs in a precarious situation and having to play on the road and having to play because you got attrition that can happen with that. So for me, I think they're very smart about that, and they go for it every year. And basically, if they get home field advantage, I mean, they're almost unbeatable. Yeah. They've shown that.
Jason, any final thoughts on the Chiefs, or should we move on to the next team?
They're really good. Move on to the next team. I'm trying to send something to Mikey in real time really quickly.
Go ahead, Mike.
Jason told me beforehand. I meant to say that last night. I forgot. In our pre-show meeting, Jason goes, I'm going to send it to you right now. It is 11:45.
It's ADD, man. I legitimately
guy's simulations.
I legitimately have ADD. I don't know what you want from me.
Who's the next team?
Okay, next up. A team that Jason told us in this simulation, and by the way, the Chiefs in the simulation Jason's referring to that he's yet to send to me that I will put in the show once I get it. The Chiefs had the highest projection of the 1,000.
I mean, I can't send you the article because you don't subscribe to The Athletic. So you can't see the article.
By the way, I'm curious. So last year, obviously the Chiefs beat the Bengals in the AFC Championship game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet I rooted for the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. Is that crazy?
No.
If the Chiefs had beaten the Browns in the AFC Championship game, would you have rooted for the Chiefs? I just love Patrick Mahomes.
It depends on who they're playing.
It's almost worse if the team that beat you loses because you're haunted that, like, well, we could have won that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's better that the team that beat you won the whole thing.
And that's happened to the Bengals 2 years in a row.
And I watch the game different. Like, I just watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could point out somebody made a good play or swing or momentum or whatever. Good catch, by the way.
Yeah.
But they definitely. I don't have a problem rooting for anybody. Wouldn't say I'm rooting. I'm just watching the game. So
all right. Okay, next team, Mike.
I got Jason's text. Jason, thank you.
Yeah.
Next up is a team in this simulation has the same projected win total as the Browns. That is the Los Angeles Chargers. How do you think they match up with Cleveland?
Well, match up with Cleveland?
Yeah, just I'm going to mix them up
are
a little
they
bit.
better? Are they worse?
Yeah, what do you think? And on a scale of 1 to 10, if you think Cleveland is X, whereas
we didn't
Los
do that
Angeles.
with the Chiefs.
Well, you all agreed they're the cream of the crop.
Yeah. How do the Chargers match up with the Browns? I think it's very close.
Well, the Chargers have beaten them the last 2 times they've played, but they've been very good games.
Very good. The Browns choked that game last year, big time.
Well, they choked the game in L.A.
That's true. That's right.
They should have won that one.
Listen, Justin, the Chargers are another team, like the Browns, with a ton to prove.
Absolutely.
Justin Herbert was anointed in that top group of quarterbacks, and unlike the rest of the top group of quarterbacks, he hasn't won a single game that's mattered. 0 playoff wins in 3 years in the league. Now, is it all his fault? Of course not. How many points did he put up in that playoff game against Jacksonville? Would they have 35?
I think it was 27-30 was the final score. But
okay.
It was certainly enough points to win a playoff
Right,
game.
but you could also argue, well, as his defense was collapsing, maybe he should have been able to score one more touchdown in the second half.
Facts.
When you're that great a quarterback, you got to be able to do that.
It was 31-30, by the way, 31-30.
Yeah. Austin Eckler, to me, one of the most underrated backs in the league. I think he's a very good player. He's not like a monster between the tackles, but he's a great pass catcher. Mike Williams and the underrated, speaking of underrated, still good, even though he's old, Keenan Allen in L.A. I mean, they're a really good team. I don't love their coach. I think they're neck and neck with the Browns, but I'm leaning towards picking the Browns as a playoff team and having the Chargers out. So I guess I'll put the Browns just ahead of the Chargers.
I got the Browns ahead of the Chargers, and here's why. You guys brought up the point they choked the game away last year with Jacoby Brissett. The year before, if he just hits Odell Beckham Jr. a few more times, they win that game. He was wide open. They kind of threw that one down the drain a little bit. And when I look at it, I think that the Browns defense is upgraded. I think Austin Eckler is a nice back. Mike Williams, I always seem to end up with him on my fantasy team, and I hate it. I don't know why. He's just so up and down.
He's very boomer bust.
Very boomer bust. But I just like the Browns' defense better. I like the Browns' offense a little bit better. I think they are neck and neck, but I think that Deshaun Watson, again.
Now, the Chargers' defense is more proven it than the Browns' defense.
Yes, they've proven it more.
Yeah.
But now that I like the fact that the Browns have added pieces. I think the Browns have one of the best defensive lines. And I just think Deshaun Watson, this is the game, one of the games of the people that you look at Herbert versus Watson, and if Watson is back, you'll start to see people say, well, is Justin Herbert really better than Deshaun Watson? I don't know, because, look at the way Watson is playing. So I got to project that I like the Browns better than Chargers.
These are the types of games that are coin toss, and a good quarterback can win you that game.
Now,
right?
They're not playing each other.
No, I know.
But
but I'm just saying, the Browns lost those games to the Chargers because of the quarterback play, really, in essence.
Yeah.
In both of those years, and the Chargers had the better quarterback. So the Browns theoretically should be better. But real quick, I want to mention, we've talked about this projection. So Austin Mock is our guy at the NFL, our guy at The Athletic, who runs this NFL betting model. And he did 10,000
simulations.
Thank you. Simulations of the season. And it came out with an average win total for each team. And so this is what I just sent to Mikey. He had the Chiefs number 1 in the AFC at 12 wins. The Bills were second at 10.7. The Ravens third.
Stunning.
At 10.7. So I guess tied.
Broke.
Bills and Ravens tied.
Yeah.
At 10.7. The Bengals were fourth at 10.5. Jaguars fifth at 9.9. And then the Jets, Browns, and Chargers tied at 9.1 for 6th, 7th, and 8th. So according to those projections, one of those three teams obviously are out.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
And then the Dolphins are right there as well at 9. So three teams at 9.1.
We've talked about
Dolphins
that
at
a
9.
lot. The Jets, the Browns, the Chargers, and the Dolphins, probably 2 of those 4 teams get in.
And we're going to get to those teams.
And I've been leaning towards the Browns and the Jets as the 2. But
well, and to your, I don't know if I'm going out of order, stealing Mike's thunder here, but you've been down on the Steelers all summer. And this projection has them, this simulation has them at 8.3, which would be Tomlin's first losing season. And that has them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th in the AFC, behind Tennessee.
Behind Tennessee.
Which goes to show, no matter how you want to slice and dice it, the AFC top to bottom is unprecedentedly loaded this season.
Yeah, you could argue it's the greatest collection of quarterbacks in one conference ever.
Ever.
Yeah. And Peyton Manning and Tom Brady played together with Phillip Rivers and
Big Ben.
And Big Ben. But, I mean, the quality of quarterbacks in the AFC right now is
12
insane.
teams with 8 wins or more. And, I mean,
right.
That's basically 500. I know.
Yeah,
it's 17
I mean, you got
now.
the 2 terrible teams in the South, right? You got Houston.
All 4 teams in the AFC North, all 4 teams in the AFC East, and 3 teams in the AFC
So they
West.
They got what? Who are the Broncos a team without 8 or New England?
Well,
Broncos,
Denver's the next team up, by the way. So let's what Jason, do you have their
What's their projection?
8.2. Denver's 8.2.
Yeah,
So they're right in there, and Denver's their next team. But what do you think of Denver?
I don't like Denver, guys.
I don't like Denver because I don't believe in Sean Payton. I don't
either.
I don't think he's as good of a coach. He had a Hall of Fame quarterback and held on to him as tight as he could for as long as he could. And when Breeze left, Sean was right behind him. So I'll change my if Sean wins with Russell Wilson and turns Russell around. We'll give him his credit. But until then, I think Wilson is shot, and I don't think Sean Payton's that good of a coach.
And he's gone in there very cocky, ripped the former coach that was there, which was lame.
Stupid. There's no good that can come from that.
And I like Javonte Williams, but he's coming off a serious knee injury. They're wide receivers, big names, but they've been disappointing. They've been
always
injured.
hurt too. Judy just got injured the other day.
What's that?
They're always hurt. Jerry Judy just got.
Jerry Judy's out.
I didn't see that.
He got hurt again.
I think he's out for a month.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I don't like their roster.
No.
I just don't.
They're not bad. They're not terrible.
I just like their receivers. The kid from Cortland Sutton. I don't like. It's medium. They got a bunch of medium guys. They're not good or bad. They don't have anybody fast or strong. I'm being real general here, but I don't see what I'm saying is I don't see nobody that sticks off the page that says I'm a playmaker. You're gonna have the game plan around me, or it's gonna be a problem. It's just a bunch of guys that are just middle of the road dudes that you could go in there and get a win against. And I just don't like the mix of Peyton and Russ. I just don't.
Do we all think they're going to be under 500? I do.
Broncos?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, next up, this team only has a very nice 6.9 projected wins in the 10,000 simulation project. That is the New England Patriots. Are you guys buying
They stink.
Bill Belichick or no chance in the AFC East?
No.
They don't have a quarterback, and they're playing a really hard division.
All right, we're moving on. That was easy.
combination.
Mac Jones stinks.
Yeah. And they
I just put them out
Yeah.
there, but I agree. I'm actually with you guys. Their
No
defense
name
should
players.
be better.
They do have a really Ramondre Stevenson is a really
nice
good back.
But they won't give him the ball as much as they
Right,
should
'cause they
because they
brought
like
Zeke
having
Elliott.
a bunch of random guys get touches too for no reason.
They got nothing special at wide receiver, nothing special at tight end. They stink. Go ahead.
I'm with you. Okay, next up, a team that is just below the Browns. The Browns at 9.1. The Miami Dolphins at 9.0. How do the Browns stack up against the Dolphins?
I mean, I like the Chargers. They're on the same plane of teams. I mean, 9.1 and 9.0 is hardly a difference there.
It's hard to take the Browns over the Dolphins. The Dolphins absolutely whipped their ass last year.
Yeah.
Destroyed.
Like
With
one of the
them,
most embarrassing games of the
With
season.
them, is can Tua stay healthy?
Right.
And is the guy we saw last year when he was healthy, is that the real deal? Because, they got two of the best receivers in the league. I was surprised that they didn't go after Dalvin Cook or they didn't go after Jonathan Taylor. Maybe they did.
They were one of the teams that did call.
Yeah, but like they didn't.
I would give up a first-round pick for Jonathan Taylor if I'm Miami. In a second. In a second.
Their backfield is going to be a combo of Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, and the kid they drafted, Devin.
A-Chain from Texas
A-Chain.
A&M. Who's my guy, by the way? It's my guy.
They don't want to run the ball anyway.
But you want to have the threat at least, no?
They don't even. They're not even going fake in front with you. They want to throw this right.
I hear you, but Tua ain't Mahomes.
If Tua goes down, you still have a chance with Jonathan Taylor and those receivers.
Hey, look.
If Tua goes down now, you don't have a chance.
Hey, look. I didn't say that was a smart move to throw the ball every play. That's just what they do.
Their defense wasn't very good last year.
Jalen Ramsey's out for a while. I think they try to bolster their back with that. I like Jalen Phillips at end. I think last year the Dolphins beat the brakes out of us because at that point in time the roster on defense was terrible. They could run the ball and pass the ball when they wanted. Then you look at the guy. You got the quarterback in the situation where Jacoby Brissett wasn't a guy that was going to be able to bring you back after you're down 17 points. I think that game got away from him, and that was a game, if you remember. They did that all off of a bye. The Browns had a week to prepare for them, and they smoked them like that.
And they threw up like bull.
Oh, yeah, everywhere. Chicken grease, nasty corn on the cob, koala vomit, everywhere.
Koala vomit. Ooh, that's a new level. I'm down. I'm not high on the Dolphins. I think they were like an 8-9, 9-8 team this year, to me. I don't think they're that far from the Browns, but I think the Browns are better. I think the Browns will have a better record than the Dolphins. Go ahead, Mike.
There's a super chat from Always Balling 7 who just wanted us to know that Jalen Waddle was involved in those trade discussions, which is why Miami had no interest.
Well, I wouldn't do that.
I don't know that that's true. Well, no legitimate source put that out there.
I agree. I'm just wanted to read the super chat.
Yeah, that was put out by that clown. I'm not even going to say his name, who retweets everything. And
I don't know who you're talking about.
I don't know if that's.
There was no way in hell. Hell would freeze over before the Browns. The Dolphins traded Jalen
And I'd
Waddle
say there's no way that
guy
actually happened, but the Colts are run by such idiots between Jim Irsay and Chris Ballard.
Maybe they really did
buffoons,
ask for it,
that they don't know what they're doing, which makes me think, like, by the way, let me give you some advice. Stay away from Anthony Richardson in fantasy leagues.
We're trying to teach Bull how to look into the right camera.
Stay away from Anthony Richardson in fantasy leagues.
Bull looks at himself in the TV monitor behind the camera.
You got to move the monitor. Just don't give Bull an option. Put the monitor behind the camera.
He's their number one rushing option on the goal line. Why would you take Anthony Richardson?
Because their offense is going to be so bad, and he's going to turn the ball over a ton as a rookie. They have a bad offensive line.
Right.
They have no running back.
So he's going to have the ball either running or passing every play.
I think they're going to get killed offensively.
What if it's a dynasty league? We should do a
dynasty. In a dynasty league, yeah.
We should do a dynasty league.
I'm in one. Dynasty league, I'd take
But we should. Our league should be a dynasty. Why not?
That's really complicated.
Why?
I mean,
we barely have people that know how to play regular fantasy.
Yeah,
well,
Let's keep it simple.
The fantasy IQ is not up where it needs to be.
I don't know if we have a high fantasy IQ in this.
We got a couple more teams I want to get to. This
Yeah.
is one of the teams that in Jason's mock simulation, and I say Jason, it's not actually
Yeah, I had
Jason,
nothing
he
to
just
do with
shared
this.
it.
Yeah.
But the Buffalo Bills, 10.7 projected wins. Are
Everybody's
you guys
down on
confident
the-
that Buffalo's still in that same tier with KC and Cincinnati, or do you think they've taken a step back?
I think they're right there. I'd put them third of the three, but I think people are too down on Buffalo this year. You know, maybe because they've
It
lost,
does feel like it's swung too far.
right? Like
the
they
other
were
way.
getting maybe a little overhyped for a couple of years, and now it's like we got to push them down.
And normally that's when they show. That's when that
Yeah,
team
right.
arrives, right?
Now
Like,
they haven't done it. You know, they've won some playoff games. It's not like the Chargers,
Right.
But they've never won that. Oh, now they're this another level playoff game.
I actually think the Browns, if you ask me, they match up the best against the Bills, right? The Bills are the most predictable between the Bengals and the Chiefs. They have the most animosity on their roster. Like if Stephon Diggs does not get the ball 100 times, I
He
feel
gets
like
pissed,
he
yeah.
just gets mad. Like they don't have a running game. Josh Allen will turn the ball over. Right, he'll throw 2-3 picks. He led the league in interceptions, and they use him way too much in the run game.
Yeah, Singletary's not on the team anymore, by the way, Mike.
Yeah, he's not there. Von Miller is hurt.
Mike, Devin Singletary not on the team anymore. Mike's locked into something.
Singletary is not on the team anymore.
Yeah.
No, James Cook's their starting running back.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at them, if they got to play the Bills, I like the matchup because I just think the Browns match up better defensively now. They can move the ball and they can use the ball control game. I like the Browns' chances against the Bills better than the Bengals and the Chiefs.
they were in that game last year. That was
Yeah.
the weird game in Detroit.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of the details, but I remember I was there. But they were in it. Like they were right there competitive with Buffalo
Yeah.
until the end.
Two busts on the goal line. I think Tyvis really cleared up both of those.
That's the game I wrote. They had to fire. Like that was it. It's time to fire
Right.
Joe Woods.
Yeah. They couldn't get
after
lined up.
SDC.
They couldn't-
Obviously, Josh Allen's a great player.
Yes,
He takes, but
he does turn it over too much.
He turns it over too much, and they put too much on him. Now
Another team that could use Jonathan Taylor.
what'll be interesting is they drafted a tight end in the first round whose name's escaping me right now. And tight ends don't often make an impact as rookies,
Dalton Kincaid, by the
but
way.
everybody's really high on this guy. They think because they don't have a second pass catcher that's very good, and a lot of people think he's going to be like make an impact as a rookie. So
Yeah.
that'll be something to keep an eye on. The Bills are still really good.
Yes,
And they're a team that's proven they can win a lot of games and at least win a playoff game every year. Go ahead, Mike.
Mary Kay, by the way, just tweeted out 26 seconds ago, Denzel Ward still in concussion protocol, will not practice today, so that's a situation we will monitor.
Okay.
As we
You don't
continue to
start
move
really
forward.
worrying until early next week, but
they're
Just want to throw it out there.
yeah, no, but
Hey,
good.
before we do our next team,
Yeah.
I got to get a read in real quick. So
Good.
if you guys don't mind, let me remind everybody that if you are looking for Browns gear this upcoming season, the only place to shop for Browns gear is fanatics.com/UCSS. If you use that link, fanatics.com/UCSS, get all the same deals you would normally on Fanatics. You just help us out on the back end. You get elf gear just like G. Bush is rocking, hats, sweatshirts, jerseys, T-shirts, long sleeves, whatever you need. You can find it at fanatics.com/UCSS.
That's where I got this at Fanatics.
It's beautiful. I actually bought some stuff the other day there, and they're pretty damn good deals. Next team, Bull, the
Yes.
New York Jets.
That's
And the
it.
graphics
This
you
the
guys
one.
see, for everyone saying
This the
that's not
one.
accurate, the graphics are last year's leaders. So you're going to see Zach Wilson on
No,
this
I didn't say it
graphic.
was inaccurate. I was just saying.
No, I know. We had some people in chat being like, he's not there. And we understand. This was
Yeah,
last
all right.
year's
Sorry,
leaders.
This is-
I threw you guys under the bus.
This is the team right here.
The Jets are fascinating. They're very much like the Browns. It's like you don't know what to expect from the quarterback.
Yep.
It's for different reasons. He's old. But the Jets, if you look at their skill positions, they are loaded with talent. Okay, they don't really have much at tight end. They have two okay guys. But you got Breece Hall, he's coming off an injury, but he's practicing, and Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
That's the best. 1-2 punch in the NFL, probably.
Yeah.
I'd take that over assuming they're healthy. I don't know that both are 100% healthy. But if Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall are healthy, that's the best 1-2 punch in the NFL. You got one better?
Unquestioned, I don't think.
Better than Green Bay?
Absolutely.
Which is a good 1-2 punch. That's the best 1-2 punch. Garrett Wilson was phenomenal as a rookie, playing with garbage quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. He's going to be even better. They brought in Alan Lazard, who has developed under Aaron Rodgers. They have that chemistry already.
McCall Hardman.
They got, McCall Hardman's not that good, but
it's a speed threat.
But he's a deep threat. Yeah,
that's the Aaron Rodgers. That is they keep one of those dudes.
Yeah.
What's the kid from Kentucky? I can't remember. Gosh, it's gonna mess me up if I can't remember it.
Don't know.
Oh my God, Cobb. He's the Randall Cobb. They keep.
Is it Randall Cobb there too?
Yeah, they actually have Randall Cobb too.
Yeah, they brought in Randall Cobb.
He's the most Randall Cobb, except for Randall Cobb.
Right.
He's Randall Cobb 2.0.
But there are some question marks on their offensive line. But again, it comes down to, is Aaron Rodgers still a Pro Bowl caliber player? If he is, then the Jets, like the Browns, I think will go to the playoffs. If he's not, they won't. It's really that simple. It's interesting because Aaron Rodgers clearly showed signs of decline last year.
Yes.
However, I thought Tom Brady did in his last year in New England. And then he was rejuvenated being on a new team with better receivers, and he played like an MVP again. Will Rodgers do the same thing? It's only 2 years ago that he won the MVP.
Rodgers in decline is still a really good quarterback.
But he was middle of the road last year.
Yes, he was. But
now I'm saying he could bounce back and be a top 10 guy again this year.
He's still going to be in decline, but Rodgers in decline could still be better than most of the quarterbacks.
Certainly better than what the Jets had last year.
100%.
But the Jets didn't win a lot. The Jets won less games than the Browns last year.
The problem with the Jets is they play in a sneaky tough division too. Bills are good.
Yeah. But
Dolphins,
it's not as good as the North.
Not as good as the North, but Bills and Dolphins are good,
Yeah.
and the Patriots will sneak up and beat one of those teams that
Sure.
they shouldn't. So, they play in one of those divisions. That's the key thing with them.
Yeah.
And if Rodgers can be 80%, 85% of what they are, that's still pretty good if they got a running game. If they consistent with the run game, run the play action off that, don't put them in shotgun too much and throw the ball 40 times, they got a good roster, man.
Yeah. Hall and Cook can both catch the ball out of the backfield, too. They should be pretty good. If Rodgers is good, they'll be a good team. I expect them to make the playoffs. That's my expectation.
Yes or no answer before we get to our last two. They finish with the same record, or do the Browns finish with a better record? There's three options. Better, worse, or same.
Than the Jets?
Than the Jets.
It's tough because
I didn't
North
see
is
the Jets.
tougher.
Want to see the Jets schedule. I don't know our schedule.
I want to say it's the same, but they actually finish higher because they do better in their division.
They also have a head-to-head week 17.
That's
December
gonna be huge.
28th. It's a Thursday night game.
That's going to be
prime
huge.
time.
That's going to be good. That's going to be a playoff implicated game.
Yeah.
You would think.
Like that game
could be last one in type.
Yeah. Damn it.
All right, you ready? Jet schedule, quickly?
Yeah, quickly.
Week 1, Bills at home.
Okay.
They got the Bills at home.
Hey, run through this quick because we got a bunch of stuff to do.
Week 2, at the Cowboys. Week 3, Jets at home. Week 4, Chiefs at home. Some tough games, but 3 home games. At the Broncos. Eagles at home. At the Giants. Chargers at home.
I'll take the Browns.
Give me
At
Browns.
the Raiders.
I've
At
heard
the
enough.
Bills. Dolphins at home. Falcons at home. Texans at home. At the Dolphins. Commanders at home. At the Browns. Their schedule, the back end is much more favorable.
They have
But
a
they got a
brutal
tough start to the
They
season.
have a brutal schedule
I'll take
and a
the Browns.
head-to-head
Yeah.
against the Browns.
They seem very similar to the Browns, with a tough start. It gets a little easier towards the end. But those two teams are going to be right neck and neck. We have 2 more teams.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, which in the projected simulations, 9.8 wins to Cleveland's 9.1.
I think Jacksonville's too high.
They're going to fall off.
Their division stinks.
I know their division's terrible. I know, but I just don't like that team. I'm not as high.
See,
on
I'm
them.
high on Jacksonville. They got their wide receiving core is really good and underrated.
Who they got? Kirk, Zay.
Calvin Ridley now.
They
I mean,
do
now
have
he hasn't
Ridley.
played for 2 years.
They have Ridley, Christian Kirk.
They got Ridley, Kirk, and Zay Jones. who
Zay
played well.
Jones.
They've got a nice backfield with Etienne and
Ingram.
Tank Bigsby.
Ingram's a really good tight end, more of a receiver than a traditional tight end.
Right.
Jacksonville feels like Cleveland 2021 to me.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Cleveland 2021 had to play in a
like
good
that.
division. The Jaguars don't.
Yeah, I know.
If
But
they
I
were in another division, I'd be with you. But this division is so bad, I'll be stunned if they don't win their division.
Can I
Stunned.
be honest? I'm buying all the Jacksonville stock.
Me too.
All of it.
I'm all in on Jacksonville.
I think Trevor Lawrence
I think he's
is
a star.
special. Yeah, I do too. And the addition of Calvin Ridley, even if it takes him a little bit to get going, I'm buying all the I think Jacksonville's going to be really freaking good this year.
I'm not buying Jacksonville.
If you had to take Lamar Jackson or Trevor Lawrence rest of their career, who are you taking?
Trevor Lawrence. You don't even finish that sentence. I'm taking Trevor Lawrence.
I'm taking Lawrence. You guys?
I'm not as high on Lawrence as you guys, but I would probably still take him over Lamar.
I'd have to because he's younger, but
Well, he's not that much younger.
well, how
Only a couple of years.
Lamar's way younger than you think he is.
Yeah.
how old is he?
Lamar Jackson. I need a second hand to type.
Yeah.
Lamar's only 26. He's been in the league for. This is going his 5th year. He's only 26 years old.
And Trevor Lawrence is.
Trevor's 23. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is young too, but
Yeah, but it's not a huge difference.
I would. If you ask me for 1 year, I'm taking Lamar Jackson. If you ask me for the rest of his career, I would probably take Trevor Lawrence.
Steve Becker just asked the good question.
Lawrence or Herbert?
Lawrence or Herbert?
Herbert.
Come on.
I know Herbert. I'd still take Herbert.
I know Herbert. I know you're a little down on him, but come on, man. Justin Herbert
That's
over.
a tough one. I think most people would take Herbert. I would take Lawrence.
I think you're golden with either one.
Yeah, but
If I had to pick,
choose.
I'd go with Herbert, but
I get it. Most
think
people
you
would
go
pick
both
Herbert.
ways.
Herbert's probably the right choice. Obviously, he's more proven than Lawrence, but
After this year, I'm just waiting on people to have to say, who's better, Watson or
hopefully,
Herbert? Watson or Lawrence?
remember, though, Lawrence was as big a prospect coming out of college as anybody.
Oh, for sure.
Ever.
And Urban Meyer effed him up and effed that whole team up for 1 year. To me, I throw that whole season out the window.
Yeah. Last team, real quick. We'll go through this one quick because I don't think anyone's going to say they're on the same level as the Browns. But Tennessee, they were in the
They're
same
garbage.
realm
Garbage.
on this projection, but you guys don't think Tennessee is in
They're
that same
garbage.
conversation?
By the way, that's a trap game. Tennessee versus the Browns is a trap game on that schedule. They play hard every year.
All right.
I don't think they're garbage. They just don't have a quarterback, but they're well coached.
5-12.
They got a lot of talent outside of quarterback. But I take Cleveland to win.
If Derrick Henry goes over a cliff this year, forget about it.
Yeah.
I just drafted Derrick Henry where they had.
I don't think he's going to go off the cliff this year, but it's coming.
I mean, but I just in my heart, I'm like,
I think he's got one more big year.
The year I picked Derrick Henry is the year
Yeah.
he gets 900 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Cade York lining up for a 48-yarder
boy.
week 3.
No.
It's coming.
Can't happen.
It's coming.
Go ahead, Mike.
We're going to move on in a sec. I did ask the YouTube chat, of all the teams we're speaking of, who do you think is the most direct threat to the Browns' playoff chances? So who could it come down to for that last spot potentially? 53% said the Jets. Everything else was kind of scattered around. They were higher on the Dolphins than the Chargers, but the Jets, the primary team they're looking at as the direct, this could be the team, either us or them.
What
in that
options
last spot.
did you give?
Miami, Chargers, and Jets.
I think I agree with that.
I would flip-flop Miami and the Chargers. I think the Jets 1, Chargers 2, Miami 3. That's for me.
The Jets had 53, and then the other two were close. So they're
I
pretty
believe
in line.
whenever we make official predictions for the season, I don't know if we're going to do it.
We're going to do it next week.
I'm leaning towards the Browns as the 6 seed, the Jets as the 7 seed, the Chargers as the 8 and out, and the Dolphins as the 9 and out.
We will do that next week before the start of the season, I promise. But we got 3 things left to do in 45 minutes, and this one's going to be quick. 32-32, number 5, Amari Cooper, the Browns' number 1 receiver entering the season. Where did you have Mr. Cooper on your list?
Mr. Cooper, oh, here we go. Mr. Cooper, on my list, I think he might be 5 also. No, I got him even higher. I had him 3. I had Amari Cooper at 3, Mike. What do you guys think? I mean, Amari Cooper is one of the 5 most important players on the Browns. Does everybody think that? 5 most important people?
Did you do coaches?
I did.
Okay.
These guys had both the head coach and Jim Schwartz as the 2 of the 4 most important pieces. Do you agree with that?
I think the head coach better be one of the top important pieces.
Players win games.
Yeah, I know, but coaches put them in position to win games, especially in the NFL.
Especially the ones that call the plays.
So you think Kevin Stefanski is the 2nd most important person on the Browns? Behind
My
Deshaun
top
Watson?
5 would be Deshaun, Miles,
Yep.
Kevin, Nick.
I got Stefanski too, because he's close to the number 1.
My top 5 is Watson, Myles Garrett, Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb, and Joel Bitonio. Now, you could argue I got Bitonio.
Yeah, you got
too high.
Bitonio way too high. We talked about that earlier.
You need to have let's focus on Cooper now. We'll get to the
Yeah,
rest of the list
sorry.
when we get to the top 5. But I think personally, Amari Cooper could, and I say could because I do think the targets to be spread around so evenly throughout this offense. That's what Deshaun does best. Despite that, could have his biggest season in the history
Well,
of
he's never even
his
had
career.
1,200
He's never
yards,
had
has he?
1,200 yards, so the biggest season for him is not like breaking NFL records. But
Yeah.
he's in a place now with Nick Chubb, Elijah Moore, Njoku, DPJ, weapons on the outside, and a quarterback who is as good at extending and creating plays outside of the script as maybe anyone outside of Mahomes. I think he could be – he's in for a big season. Big season. That's why I had him at number 5.
He's very important to what they do offensively, guys. Obviously, he's by far their best receiver. He's their only proven receiver. And, now he's been up and down in his career. Like, when he came out, you would have thought he would have had a 1,200-yard season by now. And so he's had some up and down moments. For whatever reason, he hasn't played as well on the road. I don't know why that is. You never think – like, you think about that with baseball players. I don't really think about that with football players.
Yeah.
Except for maybe quarterbacks in a dome or something like that. But whatever. But Amari Cooper is a great route runner and has great hands and, deserves to be in the top 5, certainly, I think.
Yeah, if you take Amari Cooper off this roster, you're in trouble. You got Elijah Moore and DPJ, and those guys are not going to put you anywhere in the top, I would say 20 in terms of receivers. What makes those guys look good is the fact that you do have a number 1 receiver in Amari Cooper that can take all the heat off the rest of everybody else. And now DPJ can work against twos, work against secondary guys. You could do some gadget stuff with Elijah Moore that gets him lined up on safeties and linebackers. So it's much better in a way that, you can kind of mask the deficiencies of some of your other guys. I love Elijah Moore, but I like bigger receivers. I just think there's less room for error for quarterbacks with smaller guys, catching the football. We saw that with Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. You just didn't have the level of size and catch radius that you wanted. They've done a good job of going to get guys like Cedric Tillman who are bigger. DPJ is bigger.
Yeah.
You got your number 1. You got your smaller guys. And the speed guys, Marquise Goodwin. So
yeah.
I like Amari Cooper here. I think he's underrated. And by the way, he's quietly had a top 10 season. That season he had last year is a top 10 receiving all time for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. Well,
which is kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. By the way, speaking real quick, Jason,
Yeah.
speaking of big pass catchers, T.J. Hawkinson has just reset the tight end market.
I saw something about that, but I
signed
didn't see the
a
numbers.
4-year, $68.5 million deal, $42.5 million guaranteed, an average annual salary of $17.125 million, which passes Darren Waller, not Travis Kelce, as the highest paid tight end per year.
What's Kelce making?
Kelce's making an average on his contract of 14.3, which is insane.
Yeah.
What a bargain he is.
I wonder when he's up.
Yeah, but he's getting old.
He's
so
old. He's going to be a weird
But
contract to deal
he
with.
might be like a 1-year, $25 million contract, something like
Is he
that.
33?
I don't
I
think
think he's
that
32. I don't think he's that old. I think he just turned 32, but he has a lot of
like
endorsement
33
money
is
he
that
gets
far from
into.
32.
So
Listen, you guys have covered Amari Cooper. There's nothing else I need to add. The only thing I'll say that I really like about Amari, he is not the prototypical diva type receiver.
That's true.
Who we were talking about Stephon Diggs, who pouts and sulks and screams every time he didn't get the ball. I love Amari because he just keeps his mouth shut and he keeps his head down and he does his job. And when your 2 skill position guys, most important skill position guys, Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper, are pros who just get the work done and go about their business, like, you are in good hands with those 2 guys in lead roles. And that's one thing I don't know him well, but as I got to know him a little bit last year, that's one of the things that really stood out to me and I really appreciate about Amari was just he's not that diva type of receiver that so many in the NFL are.
100% true. 100%. Cooper and Chubb are great examples for the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Great.
And Bitonio.
For the most part, there are no headaches or problems on the roster. If you look at it, like people
you don't
say,
jinx it, bro. Don't jinx it.
Really, like
outside of the Deshaun Watson situation, which we're not going down the road there. There's nobody else on the team at this point that's been in any kind of trouble. Well, Myles Garrett The car accident last year was
self-inflicted.
And even Deshaun Watson don't even talk that much. I mean, he speaks every
right.
As a quarterback, I think he speaks the least amount.
But he's not a problem in terms of being a diva.
Yeah,
right.
That's not an issue. All right, Mike.
That was quick. You guys ready for some fake trades?
Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
All right, so let me preface this.
Love these.
You know how much I love these.
Make sure you start the clip with me saying, let me preface this. I'm not saying anything's going to happen. These are just trades that I think would make the upcoming season more fun. Simply that. This is not projections. This is just things I would love to see that I know aren't going to happen, but would make the upcoming season a lot more fun. So I think they're all in the realms of the right value for said player. If you guys think I'm way off, by all means tell me. But I'm going to put out a trade. I'll tell you why I think it makes sense. You guys can tell me I'm crazy. You hate him, you like him, whatever. And then we'll get to
Here we go. I love this. Go ahead.
Cleveland rookie hype. Earl has a trade in here. Bull, you have a trade in here. I got a couple.
Yeah.
The first one does involve Jonathan Taylor.
Are you going to say who came up with these trades?
Yeah, this is mine. Jonathan Taylor to the Eagles for Jordan Davis and a fourth-round pick
You got to
next
give
year.
up more than a fourth-round pick.
Jordan Davis was a first-round pick last year at a premium position.
Yeah.
He is now second team on the depth chart after they drafted Jaelon Darden in the first round. He played a ton of preseason snaps, so maybe they're not as high on him. To get a former first-round pick who was considered one of the top prospects in the draft back for Jonathan Taylor, to me, feels like a pretty decent return. And the Eagles are in win-now mode. They're not paying Jalen Hurts. His extension doesn't kick in until next year. Their running back core is talented but injury-prone. And if you're the Eagles, before Jalen Hurts' contract kicks in, this is when you go full send, all in, balls on the table.
Yeah.
This is put up or shut up. Adding Jonathan Taylor to that offense, behind that offensive line.
What do you guys say
Makes
about
it
that
scary.
trade?
Put that back up real quick.
It was Jonathan Taylor for Jordan Davis and a 2024 fourth round.
I do think you need to go higher on draft compensation.
How good was Jordan Davis last year?
It's okay, but they just drafted another Georgia defensive tackle in the first round this year.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I don't know enough about Jordan Davis to know what his
I would
value
take.
is.
I would make the move if you want to go ahead and go give me a second-round pick and Jordan Davis.
But Jordan Davis in a little bit of a higher pick?
Higher pick, yeah.
Give me the higher pick. Because here's the thing, they got that. So the crazy part about it is if you're going to get rid of the offensive guy, I mean, they still got DeForest Buckner.
The Colts suck, so they're trying to tank. This just gives you another young piece
another young
to help build
dude.
that defensive line.
Our resident Eagles fan, Steve Becker, and Eagles fans are unbearable at this point. I mean, the Phillies are playing well. At least the Sixers are a disaster. That's good. He says he wouldn't make the trade.
These are trades I think would make the season more fun.
I think they're cocky because they won essentially without a running back last year, and they brought in DeAndre Swift, who's pretty talented.
Yeah,
but he can't stay healthy though, so I don't know.
Do you think Jonathan Taylor in that? Let's say it was Davis in a second-round pick.
Yeah.
He makes them better.
I would do it if I were Philly.
He makes them better.
But see, when teams don't, this is the tell. They are like the bull. They don't really want to run the ball like that anyway. They got Jalen Hurts.
That's true.
They gonna put the ball in his hands, and they either gonna pull the screens down and take off for runs, or they gonna throw the ball to the two receivers they're paying all that money to. They really don't want to run the ball like that, dog.
But then you got to pay him after you trade for him. Then you got to pay him.
I mean,
right.
So that complicates things.
Yeah, that's true. Go ahead, Mike. I don't think he'd be traded unless that was part of the
Well,
plan.
I'm saying you got to give up draft comp for him.
Yeah,
but then
true.
you got to really compensate him after that.
If you got a top flight quarterback, right? So this is why it's very interesting to see what the Browns do, because when you look at Allen, even Austin Eckler in L.A., he's not going to get no new deal. Joe Mixon had to take a pay cut.
Yep.
Those quarterbacks are going to get the ball and they're going to throw the ball.
Yeah,
so
that's fair. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, next up's a Cooper Kupp trade that I came up with. We'll do your Cooper Kupp trade next bowl. They're very, very similar, though.
Okay.
So, and we have Tyvis's answer to your trade. But first, the Giants don't have a bona fide number one receiver. The Rams may decide to blow it up this year. What about Cooper Kupp to the Giants?
By the way, you say they don't have a bona fide first receiver as if they have a guy who could be.
No, they have their receiving
nobody.
core is not good. Just flat out
Cooper
not good.
Kupp for a second and fourth this year and a second next year.
season.
Oh, stop that. That's way too high. Why would the Giants get – that's a lot.
You think that's too much? Because that's less than what Bull's going to offer in the next trade.
I don't agree with you. Cooper Kupp's one of the best receivers. I know he's old.
He's come off major injuries, 2 out of the last 3 years. He's over the age of 31. He's a smallish receiver.
I don't think he's over 31, is he?
I think he is 30 right now. Hold on, I'll look it up.
Yeah. I would do that if I was
He's 30 years old, turns 31 this year, G. He just turned 30, so
I would do that if I were the Giants.
A second and a fourth and another second?
And Giants can't win a Super Bowl with Daniel Jones anyway, so what's
too
the
much
point?
to give up, is that what you're saying, G?
Heck, shit, you're not getting that. You're not sniffing that second in 2025. I'll give you a second and a 6.
I mean, Devontae Adams he's old too. And he got traded for 2 1s, didn't he? What did he get traded for?
Well,
There's a delay. Did you just hear that?
Slightly.
Really?
They tripped up.
Oh, it's back. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
No, he just got traded for a first and a second.
Yeah, I mean, why shouldn't Cooper Kupp bring back similar to Devontae Adams?
That's too high for me.
I'm not doing it if I'm the Giants because that's not going to win you a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think did I say it to the Giants too, or did I say it to the Browns?
No, you said to someone else, and I'll get to. But once again, these are just to make the season more fun.
Yeah,
So.
right. From that perspective, yeah.
From the resident Giants fan. Is this
Yeah.
yours?
Yeah.
I did this one, yeah.
The
Yeah,
Giants
well, that's
don't,
why he
the
put the
Giants
Giants.
don't think they can't win the Super Bowl.
If Cooper Kupp can win you a Super Bowl, then go get him. But the
Well, that leads
Giants.
us to the next one then. This
Yeah.
is Bull's trade for Cooper Kupp, and we will listen to Tyvis. Before you guys answer, I'll tell you the trade. We'll listen to Tyvis, and then we can do this. But, Steve, will you take the next trade, 221 here first? This is Bull's Cooper Kupp trade. Nope. This is it. You're right. You take it. Cooper Kupp to the Rams. To the Chiefs, excuse me, for a first,
I
a
had it
fifth,
to
and
the
a
Chiefs.
second.
That's right.
And before you guys chime in, let's hear Tyvis on this trade.
Of course he wants the Chiefs to have him. No, the Chiefs ain't getting better with him. No. If he went to the Chiefs, that's literally almost cursed. That would be insane. That would be almost like when Kevin Durant signed to the Warriors. They would break the NFL. I think that's how significant that trade would be from an offensive standpoint.
No.
Because
By the way,
essentially 2 guys that can't be checked, Travis Kelce and Cooper Kupp, with the best quarterback in history. So the Chiefs should 1,000% be all over it, but the rest of the NFL will veto that.
by the way, very odd that you have Earl sitting in the background there, and you didn't get Earl to move.
Earl's working. I'm not telling my guy not
That
to
was
stop working.
that was weird.
Oh, that's
just weird.
cool.
My guy's working. You get the real look behind the scenes.
It's just like when they go to the movie, when you watch nightly news. There's always guys in the backyard of acres.
What are they
doing
doing,
work.
really?
Research. Listen to the scanners.
Okay, but to the trade.
Yeah.
Why would the Chiefs do that? They just won a Super Bowl without him.
Thank
Why
you,
not?
Jason. Thank
Like,
you,
you
Jason.
won without
You
him.
always want to get better.
Well,
no?
of course, but I don't know that I'm giving up a first-round pick if I'm the
First.
Chiefs when I just won a Super Bowl without an elite number one option.
My first round pick is the 31st.
Yeah, I know,
30th
I
pick of
get
the draft.
it, but I'm just like, had they not won last year, or had they really felt the missing
Well, just
presence
because you
of
won
Tyreek?
last year doesn't mean you're going to win the next
They-
one.
But it proves you can.
They traded somebody more cheat codish than Cooper Kupp.
And
They
Tyreek
had
Hill.
Tyreek Hill
Yeah.
and Kelsey, and it was
Mike
unstoppable.
asked, first of all, Mike asked me, as you've said, give me a trade that would be fun, would be like a fun
Yeah, it would
trade.
make the
for
season
NFL.
more fun. That's all
and
we're
that's
doing.
why I said it. I think that's fair compensation.
All right.
Now,
That's fine.
Why would Tyvis say, of course I want him to go to the Chiefs? Why would I want him to go to the – that's the last team I want him to go to.
Facts, yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't want him to go to the Chiefs.
Surprised you didn't put Cooper Kupp on the Bengals.
Man, look.
They don't really got
For
room
a 7th round pick.
and I don't agree with, like, they're unstoppable. Like, okay, you're going to run underneath routes the whole game. Cool. Sweet. Like, that's not.
Yeah, I mean, to his point about Kevin Durant to the Warriors, well, that was Tyreek Hill on the Chiefs.
Like, that was Tyreek Hill on the Chiefs. You had that, bro. What are you talking about? And by the way, there's no comparison with the Durant Warriors. The Durant Warriors, to me, beat the 96 Bulls. I got the Durant Warriors.
Depends what rules you're playing with.
Those-
You playing 96 rules or you playing –
You got a three-point line?
I'll tell you, to your point,
Yeah.
that 17 Cavs team was better than the Cavs team that won the championship.
Oh, yeah. They were
They're better.
way better.
But whatever. We don't want to go get into this
All
debate
right,
now.
next
Go
one.
ahead.
This
That
one,
Christmas Day game?
That's fun.
That was the
That was a
best
fun
game
game.
I've ever
That's
seen.
fun.
this next one's less of a blockbuster. It involves the Browns.
Yeah.
And I do think this trade would make the season more fun because I think it makes the Browns better. Very simple, very basic, a straight-up player for player. DPJ to the Bears for Jack Sanborn. If you guys don't know who Jack Sanborn was, he started 6 games at linebacker last season. He's a rookie. In his 6 starts, 64 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 5 tackles for loss, and a safety. The Bears went out and signed 3 linebackers this offseason, including giving Tremaine Edmonds the largest inside linebacker contract ever, and I'm drawing the blank on the guy.
So why would I trade?
He's now a second-string linebacker.
Why would I trade another linebacker that's a slappy, just like the slappies I already have, and give up a piece of my offense?
Because I think Cedric Tillman could fill in and give you 85% of DPJ, and I think I'm not fully buying in.
Well, I better get 100% of DPJ or I'm not trading them.
I'm not fully buying in that Walker, Taki, and the rest of the linebackers are healthy enough to perform at the level Sanborn could.
You're trading for a guy that the team that drafted him last year said, we better sign 3 linebackers because he stinks.
And he
only got 6 starts. He started the last 6 games of the season, was beyond productive. PFF grade through the roof.
So why don't
Bears
they
may
like
be a worse organization?
This doesn't make the season better. Nobody gives a
it's
crap
a
about
linebacker.
it.
I told you this is the one that had no
lame.
stars
Let's
in it.
move
No
on. This
stars
one's
in
lame.
it.
And DBJ could be their punt returner.
Yeah, I don't like that trade.
Bears need receivers.
Who cares?
All right, we'll go next.
We
Next
don't
big
like
one.
that.
All
That's a
right.
dud.
We talked about, this is a big one here. This is 2 Pro Bowlers.
This is
Talked
Earl's
about-
trade or yours?
This is my trade. We'll get to Earl's last. Earl's is the very last one. We talked about Tua Tagovailoa. Dolphins need him to be healthy if they're going to compete for a playoff spot. Their offensive line's abysmal. Last season in Las Vegas, Colton Miller was the 5th highest graded right tackle in football. Tua is a lefty. The right tackle is his blind side. So, what if you swap Colton Davis to the Dolphins? Colton Miller, for Raekwon Davis, a 5th and a 3rd. Raekwon Davis, defensive tackle, plays alongside Christian Wilkins, who was one of the highest rated defensive tackles in all of football last season. This protects Tua's blind side, significantly improves the Dolphins' offensive line. The Raiders are going nowhere this year. They're essentially in a rebuild. You get a young defensive tackle, 2 more picks to work with, and they don't have to pay Colton Miller, who's due for a massive extension this offseason.
If I'm going to trade a premier offensive lineman, I want more than a guy on defense and 2 mid-round picks. I don't know.
Davis is a star on defense, though. You're trading almost young star for young star. You just don't have to pay Davis as quickly and 2 extra picks.
All right.
It's a wash.
I mean,
This one doesn't excite me.
this is not exciting. It's an offensive lineman.
That doesn't make the season more fun.
No, they're only.
You're breaking your rules, Mike.
The only way things can be fun
gives
is
more chances to
quarterbacks,
see Tyreek Hill
running backs, and receivers.
We only want skill position trades.
Only skills.
All right, well, then we're getting in the next one.
Don't need fat guy trades.
Well, we're getting in the next one then. Okay. We have 2 versions of this
Love when
trade.
Bull rubs his belly.
Earl and I both came up with Aaron Donald trades for the Browns.
Okay, now he's
Now
one
we're having
interesting
fun.
fat guy, and that's an interesting
Okay,
fat guy.
there's 2 of these.
Yeah.
I need the people out in the chat to let us know which one's
You
more
shouldn't
realistic.
say which is yours and which is Earl's.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay?
Here's the first one. Steve, you can take
I
it.
bet you I can figure it out.
Aaron Donald for Greg Newsome, DeJuan Jones, and a 3rd-round pick. What do you think of the compensation? Is that fair? Before we show the next one, is this compensation in the right range, too much, too little? What do you think?
I think that's a good trade. I mean, Aaron Donald, my first reaction was like the Browns are giving up too much. But then I'm like, Aaron Donald is still playing at a Hall of Fame level.
Yeah.
And DeJuan Jones, while I like the potential, that's all it is.
Yeah, I actually think they need to.
And Greg Newsome's okay.
I think it needs to be better pick than a 3rd rounder 2 years from now. I actually don't think that's enough for Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first one. Are you guys ready
It's
for
not
the second
bad,
one?
though.
It's not bad.
not
It's not
bad.
bad.
Okay, Steve, let's take the second one. Aaron Donald for DPJ and a 3rd-round pick.
That's Earl's. First one was Mikey's. That's Earl's.
Like what? Like
No chance in hell.
This better not be yours. This better be Earl's.
No, that's Earl's.
So let me.
That is Earl's.
I knew it.
Like this trash right here, bro. Like they might fine you for this, bro. Like you might get fined. Like the league might. Like this won't even go through a Madden. Like he played Madden. He should have tried this out. And that bar is red as hell. It ain't even yellow. DPJ in a 3rd
Why
round
would the
pick?
Rams even want DPJ? He's a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah.
They're rebuilding.
Yeah.
At
Well,
least the
Earl's-
guys Mike was trading were
on
guys
contract.
right. Those are guys they could keep.
Earl said they want to clear cap space and they could always re-sign DPJ.
No.
I mean, Earl is.
You'd have to give up.
We know he's the biggest homer on the show.
You'd have to give up. Like
But
they
I
might
can't
not-
believe he's not here to get crushed
They
right
might
now.
not do that with a 1st round pick.
No, I wouldn't do that if I were the Rams for a 1st-round pick.
No.
DPJ.
No value.
It's ridiculous.
Zero value.
I traded
ridiculous to even put
DPJ
DPJ in the
for
trade.
Jack Sanborn. Earl traded DPJ for Aaron Donald.
Oh my.
One of these is not like the other.
Listen.
We do have Tyvis responding to this trade.
To this
Tyvis,
one?
what do you say about this?
They're declining that for sure. They laugh at your face and hang the phone up if you even started off. If Aaron Donald, I know that he's older and he's towards the end, but I mean he's still the best defensive tackle in the history of the game, and he's still going to be productive. And you're pairing him on the defensive line that has Dalvin Tomlinson, Myles Garrett, and Zadarius Smith or 00. Like that. Come on, man. Like stop it.
Can we get Earl on the line here?
Let me text Earl and
That
see
is
if he
the
wants
most
to be
ludicrous trade. I mean, I expect better from Earl now.
And see,
That's a trade that fans come up with where they don't even think about what the other team might want.
You got to think about it. That's the type of trade that I would say only in Cleveland.
Yeah, right.
Like
That's the fantasy football trade you send to the dude in the league.
Yeah. DPJ is the new Rashard Higgins.
Right. He has zero. DPJ has zero value in a trade. Zero.
He still has not yet made his. Like there's different types of veterans. Veterans that are on the squad regardless.
Yeah.
Like Donovan Peoples-Jones could theoretically go to another squad and be on the bubble list and be like, ooh, like he go to Jacksonville. You might not say he's one of their top 5.
Yeah.
Like like he just is now getting to a point where, okay, well, he's on the Browns roster snugly.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to go in the free agent market and find somebody that's going to give him a bag of money.
A mediocre, a decent receiver that's going to be a free agent has no interest to any team that may be looking to next year.
He's average at best.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I have texted Earl a VMix link if he would like to join and defend himself.
He could not be more lost.
You couldn't trade your best receiver for Aaron Donald in the fifth.
So, to give you all a little context, we came up with these. Earl gave me his yesterday morning when he was in, and Anthony, who usually edits with his headphones on and kind of is in his own world, took his headphones off to listen to this. Now, Anthony, admittedly, is not like a Madden GM. Like Anthony's not, and Anthony, if you want to hop on the mic at any point, you can chime in. Like, usually when me and Earl are going back and forth, Anthony kind of sits off to the side and chimes in when he feels necessary. And when Earl proposed that, Anthony looked at him like he had 12 heads. And if Anthony says that, that's how I knew. I was like, might not be his best.
He was actually making an argument against you for this trade, being fair?
He said I was giving up way too much.
They went back and forth on this for like 10 minutes.
No.
He said Jones, Newsome, and a third was way too much.
Earl must have been having that fever yesterday.
Yep. He was sick
That
yesterday.
fever was kicking in yesterday.
When you make a fake trade, okay, you can't let, I'm a homer, and, I think DeJuan Jones is going to be nuts. The Rams passed on DeJuan Jones in the draft
4 times.
Well,
At least 3 times.
I don't know they had all those
that's true.
picks.
That's true.
But, it's not the guy was just in the draft, okay? He may turn out to be a good player, but his value in a trade hasn't gone up much, if at all, because he did a nice job in one.
But we'll get to that here in a few minutes in the next segment.
That is a great tease. And Jason, thank you for that. That was an elite transition. But before we get to the topic itself,
I could argue that on the Cleveland Browns team, there is only one person with legit value.
No, there's at least 2.
No, that's
no.
At least
think about it. In a trade, and that you get elite value back.
Oh, because you're saying Watson couldn't because of the contract?
Watson's contract, Denzel Ward's injury in the contract.
Yeah, right now, at this moment in time, you couldn't probably trade Watson.
Yes, you could.
Well, you could, but you couldn't get elite value.
You couldn't get elite
Myles
value
Garrett,
back.
you'd get the
now, if Deshaun Watson plays great this year, then you can get it.
But today, only Myles Garrett. And the your two other players are guards, and guards have no value.
Myles Garrett is the only player that brings
Next week, should we do a?
He's right.
No,
Amari Cooper doesn't get you elite value. He didn't.
He went for a 5th.
Chubb's a running back. Antonio's too old.
Zadarius Smith went for a 5th. Chubb is a running back.
This is producer thinking. Right next week, what if we did a topic on what is each Browns player's current trade value? That'd be fun, or would you guys hate that?
Nah, I like that.
I would just do it in picks just to keep it simplified.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. player X is worth a
This-
second and a fourth.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And it might be shocking.
Like a trade chart type
It
thing.
might
Yeah.
be shocking. Your best players be fourth
I think
round.
a lot of people
I
would be
still
surprised.
think Watson would bring back the second biggest return behind Garrett.
I believe that's probably accurate.
Yes.
But now, if Watson has a great season this year, then it changes because then you're like, okay, I don't care about his contract. He's worth it.
And the scary part is, I don't even with Watson, you might not get no ones back, man.
Yeah, you would. Yeah,
You
you
would
would.
definitely get a
still-
one. You would definitely get a
You
one.
would. You would.
I don't know.
You
you
wouldn't
would.
get the 3 1s plus that they gave up.
But here's the thing: if it was just today, I'm looking at the climate. Who is open? What position? Quarterback position is open where people are going to be like, "Hey, let's give us some ones for this guy today."
You don't think Atlanta would do it? They tried to get him.
They just
okay.
drafted.
Oh.
Who did Atlanta just drafted?
Desmond Ritter 2 years ago. But he ain't that good.
Atlanta would do it. They bring him home.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Tampa would do it. Who were the other teams? The Saints were in on him. Carolina was in on him.
But
Carolina's
I don't think the Saints would do it now.
I bet you the Rams would do it. Stafford's getting old.
Yeah,
I give you that.
I wonder if the Patriots would do it. I wonder if Bill would do it.
Yep. Jets maybe.
I think he's seen enough of Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it's more
I do
interesting
have
than
one
you
more
Yeah.
trade, and this comes via a
Earl's
super
too sick
chat.
to come on.
He might honestly, Earl. I talked. He was not. He sounded absolutely terrible. He felt terrible.
All right, we'll leave
so
him be then.
hope
But
Earl.
Earl, we
speaks
love
Let's kick
you.
him while he's down.
But
Yeah,
that was,
listen,
that was
find him,
an
get him on
all-time
there.
bad trade offer.
From Professor Chaos.
Yeah. Didn't we already have one from him?
We have a new one from him.
Okay.
He's rich.
Njoku, 2 seconds and a first for George Kittle.
What?
Say that again.
I'm not doing that if I'm the Browns.
Say that again.
Njoku, 2 second-round picks and a first for George Kittle.
What are you, high? Is he out of his mind?
What?
I love George Kittle, and he's better than Njoku, but he's not young and he's injury prone.
And he's not going to get the ball like that anyway.
It's
like
the injuries more than anything for me.
it's two first.
Now let me ask you this: no, 2 seconds and a first. Would you give that up for Kelsey? That's the only guy I might,
No.
and even that's too much probably.
No.
If
But
Kelsey,
you'd have to consider it for
Kelsey
Kelsey.
3 years ago, I would give up that much. You can't give up
That's
that much for a 32-year-old
twos.
Kelsey.
That's quarterback territory.
I'll tell you what.
The Browns blow most
I'll
of the
tell you
draft picks
what.
anyway.
I'd do it.
For Kelsey?
Absolutely.
For
I'd do
Kelsey,
it.
I'd seriously consider
Your
it.
window is right now. It's
Gee, if
right
you get
now.
Kelsey, can you imagine Kelsey on this team? I
would do it.
It's overpaying. Even
Okay.
for Kelsey, because
You already
of his age.
overpaid for the quarterback. The hell, you might
I
as
would
well.
do it for Kelsey, not for Kittle though.
I
No.
can't give you that one. I can't give you the one. Give me.
I would.
I'll trade. Give me Kelsey, a 2, 3, and a 7.
Nope, I'd do it. I'd give him a 1
I
and 2.
would do
for
that
Kelsey.
crazy trade. It's overpaying, but I would do it. I'm with Jason.
You got a 2-year window, really, right now.
Can you imagine Travis
This year,
Kelsey?
next
How
year.
good this offense can be? He's a million times better
It'd
than
be
David
silly.
Njoku.
It'd be absolutely silly.
By the way, what percentage of our fans think David Njoku's almost as good as Kelsey?
Better.
I'll put it in a poll, but
Who's
before we do
better?
that,
No.
Travis Kelsey
No.
and
They
David
ain't crazy.
Njoku.
They ain't that crazy.
Oh, come on.
Come on,
I'll put it in.
There's a
Jason and I will
percentage
do it.
that's crazy.
Before, though, we have to get to this last topic, and I got to do one last fast read before we wrap up the show. There are 2 membership tiers of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show for $1.99 a month. That gets you a starters tier membership, which gets you custom loyalty badges and emojis and special members-only community posts for $4.99 a month. You get all those same starter tier perks, discount codes for merch, overtime videos daily. We have some really cool stuff come up during football season that'll be added to that starters tier, and that is coaches tier, excuse me, and that's $4.99 a month. So if you're not a member and you want to be, just
go.
go to our YouTube page, hit that join button, and we appreciate it.
By the way, G said that they're not that crazy. Didn't we do a poll where the majority of our people on the poll said they would not? I don't know if Jason was here, so he's going to lose his mind if he hears this. I believe our fans said they would not trade DeJuan Jones for Stephon Diggs.
Oh, I was here that day.
Oh, you were?
Because I said that was the Dogecoin conversation.
Yeah, right.
It started
He
off
was.
as just nonsense stupidity,
right.
And then somehow turned into like.
And
Is
I
that
have
accurate,
put the
though?
poll in the chat. That is accurate. I have put the poll in the chat.
Can you imagine thinking you'd rather have DeJuan Jones than Stephon
but you know
Diggs?
what? I think they're just screwing. Like they're just screwing
You
around.
think they're just messing with me?
they're trolling.
They're screwing around.
That could be.
Like I think
Nobody in
I
their
think
right
it-
mind
I
could.
think it was Stephon Diggs. I think it was like DeJuan Jones and like a 4th for Stephon Diggs straight up. And it's like hell no.
All right, Mike. Go ahead. Set us up for this last segment.
So this last segment is something that I call the G. Bush Kool-Aid special.
Okay.
This is the
It
G.
is.
Bush absolute Kool-Aid special. It was designed with G. Bush in mind. I know Jason hates this stuff. I know Bull hates this stuff, but I know G loves it so much that we have to do it anyway.
I don't hate this conversation.
There have been 3 guys who have taken the city of Cleveland by storm based on their performances.
Have they really?
As Bull would say, quote-unquote, meaningless games.
Yeah.
Right.
Monty Bates did it in the summer league. DeJuan Jones was the best offensive tackle in the preseason, and DTR played so well in preseason that the Cleveland Browns traded the supposed-to-be backup quarterback to Arizona to elevate him to quarterback 2. There's 2 parts of this question. I'm going to ask this first. I'll chime back in and ask the second one. But let's start with this. Of those 3, DTR, DeJuan Jones, who we wouldn't trade for Stephon Diggs, or Amani Bates, which Cleveland rookie is the most hyped at the moment?
Well, that's not a fair question.
Or most hyped at the height of their hype?
Now, answering it that way, to me, it's Amani Bates. Now, in the moment, it's the Browns because the only thing anybody cares about is the Browns. But Amani Bates got way more hype than either of these guys got.
I mean, you got to think about it. In the middle of the summer, where, we
were talking about it every day. We talked about Amani Bates like 10 days in a row.
We brought Brad back in just to get some Amani Bates love. Just to debate. They brought him back in.
Yeah, we got Brad out of mothballs.
And he still said Carmelo Anthony. Again. He brought it back up. So, yes, Amani Bates was hot because at that point in time, there's nothing going on. 0. And you got to look at it. Now, the competition level, at least in the NFL, right? DTR is playing for – these guys are paying for their livelihood. Like, they're playing for their lives. They're going to get cut. These guys are tackling people.
Yeah.
You could have been on another roster. They got draft picks, some veterans mixed in. Amani Bates is playing, like, first and second year guys. So it's not even the same competition level. So, to me, if you ask me who got the – like, DTR is most impressive because he's a quarterback.
Well, that's not the question right now.
But
the
most hype, I would probably say it's probably Amani Bates. But DeJuan Jones has some hype too, but he's a lineman. You can't have that much. I would say Amani Bates at that point. They even won a championship.
Would Cavs fans trade Amani Bates for Steph Curry? That's the question. Go ahead, Jason.
I hate this segment.
Who got the most hype? Let's go.
You should listen. You hate all of it. You hate all of it, so you can tell the disdain of which
Play
one.
along.
Hype by who? Fans?
Yes.
It's got to be Amani Bates.
Yeah.
It has to be. DTR was actually legitimately impressive. He deserves the most hype.
Yeah.
He won a spot.
Yeah. Second team got rid of the other quarterback.
Got rid of the other quarterback because of him. That's how good he was. Yeah, I sat here 40 hours for the trade. I'm like, hey, DTR was great. He's still your third string quarterback. Nothing's changed. And then the Cardinals called with an offer, and everything changed.
That was it, yeah.
And I got to say, I've been impressed with DeJuan Jones because the talk coming out of the draft was, there's a lot of maturity issues there. And I think there still is. He hasn't proven anything yet, but he has certainly shown to this point he's willing to grow.
And he was throwing up a little bit. He was he was winded.
Yeah.
He was hurt. Think about it. They had a plan for him. He played all those snaps, which is impressive because I think that was their plan to get him in shape. They're like, no, you're just going to play a lot. But when it was OTAs and rookie camp, he was giving it up because he didn't have those rotations. He didn't nobody taking those snaps for him. So I think he's come a long way. He actually was going against guys dominating.
Yeah. I'm not ready to declare that he's arrived, but he's certainly shown more already than I thought that he would. Amani Bates, my opinion, has not changed at all. Not at all. Not one bit.
Mikey, what's the second question now?
The second question, and at the end of this, I will give you a second option. But of those 3, DTR, DeJuan Jones, Amani Bates, who has the best chance to develop into a superstar on the field? Obviously, quarterback would get more superstar attention than an offensive tackle, but who has the best chance to develop into a superstar on the field and or on the court, depending on who you go with?
Guys, for me, this is very tough. Between Amani Bates is not in the conversation for me. It's between the other 2 guys. Why it's tricky is DTR played 5 years of college football. He is more seasoned than the other guys, right? DTR has never had any issues off the field. There's never been a talk about maturity issues, any problems off the field. So it all makes me want to lean towards him. However, he might not get the opportunity.
That's exactly right.
And so I'm going with the big fella. He's going to get the opportunity. The Browns have gotten – he will probably play this year at some point, and he may Wally Pip whoever he ends up taking over for. I know it's an old reference. Look it up. But I think he's got them – and with his size and just – you know, he went to Ohio State for a reason. They don't bring in scrubs there. Now, guys don't always pan out.
Right.
But if this guy can get his act together, if he can grow up, there's every reason to believe he could become a frontline offensive lineman.
I mean, by all intents and purposes, this one was easy for me. Okay. He just had the best camp of any lineman in the history of the game. He just had the best camp. I put the stats back up there.
What are those stats?
He's played the most snaps.
You're going to need a knee brace soon for those knees.
He's played the most. DeJuan Jones.
I can't read that.
One of the most dominant preseasons a rookie tackle has seen. 148 pass blocking snaps, no sacks, one quarterback
kick.
That is amazing. The most snaps played without a sack in the entire NFL this preseason. Linemen don't even get snaps like this. He had one of the most impressive preseasons I've seen. And on top of that, he's blessed to have somebody in front of him that's average at best that we just talked about. He's going to get the opportunity. DTR is sitting behind somebody that makes the most money, guaranteed, in the league. And if he plays well, the Browns will be a playoff team. When is he going to see that opportunity?
Right. That's
and then Amani Bates is playing behind Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, who are ball-dominant guards who pull up a lot, and one of them averaged 30 points a game in the second-team All-NBA. That's kind of hard to come in and take 10 minutes like that.
I think DTR could have the longest career of all these guys. Like, I think he's going to be around a really long time. Not necessarily in Cleveland, but he's a guy that, you know, I think he's already shown he can play 10, 12 years in the NFL now. Feel free to pull that out on me if he's out of the league in 3 years.
Yeah.
But I just think, like, he's seasoned enough. He knows what he's doing. I think, but I don't know he's going to be a star. So for the ramifications of the question, for the guidelines of the question, I would take DeJuan Jones as well. I think he's going to have the quickest path to playing time. I agree. I think he will be on the field at some point this year just because of Jack Conklin's injury history at right tackle. I think DeJuan's going to get his opportunities, and I didn't think that after the draft. I thought this is going to be a development year for him. DTR, we know the roadblock in front of him in Deshaun, but, you know, like I said, at some point maybe he goes to another city and gets another opportunity. But he's one of those guys who can be a career backup at worst, and I'm not even going to acknowledge the Amani thing right now. I'm just not going there. So give me DeJuan. But I do think DTR could have a long career in the NFL. I've really been impressed with him.
I'm not even, like, these guys are going to be here for a few years.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure Amani Bates will be here in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, he might turn into a good player.
Right.
But there's just as good a chance, if not better, that he's cut in the next 2 years.
If you ask me who am I most excited to see play this year, it's Amani Bates.
Well, you see,
because here's the thing. We know what the competition level looks like with the Browns and those guys playing.
Yeah, right.
They earn that. Now, not to say that he didn't earn his hype, but now the biggest jump, football is different, right? When you go from a skill level, like from playing in football, NFL, you got to be big, fast, strong. All those guys are good, even from small schools, right? But when you get to the NBA, that's different. You seeing Paul George, then you seeing Durant, then you got LeBron, then you got Jokic, then you got, like, come on, this is night after night after night after night. So I want to see what it looks like against that high of a challenge. So that's why I'm saying I'm more excited to see that.
By the way, have you seen the video of Jokic, like, dancing at some club? And where is he from?
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
And it looks so funny because all these people are so short and he's like...
Yeah. He dances like I do.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right, Mike, what's the follow-up on that you wanted?
So, a couple of things real quick. As far as your Njoku versus Kelsey question, 89% said... Kelsey, it wasn't Kelsey.
Right. Yeah, come on, man. Like, you ain't that
but
crazy.
That should have been 100%.
As far as which has the best chance to become a star, before I give you the second level, what we initially asked the community tab was of those three, DTR, DeJuan, and Bates, and their results mirrored what you guys said. 64% went with DeJuan.
By the way, you could have put Bo Naylor on that list.
Well, that's the second fold here.
Yeah.
DTR had 20%, Amani Bates had 16%. if I included the options to go those three, Gavin Williams, Bo Naylor, and Tanner Bybee, any of those three, would that supplant DeJuan Jones as who you think has a chance to be a legitimate star?
Gavin Williams and Tanner Bybee, 100%.
I mean,
over all
that's
three
an
of those
unfair
guys.
comparison, though, because those guys have played in the
Those guys
majors.
are starters.
Those guys have already proven it.
Like, it's like they are starting today.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not really a fair comparison. That's why I said Bo Naylor, because he hasn't played that much, but
Right.
I mean, Gavin Williams and Tanner Bybee look like stars,
They're the best
potential stars already.
They're low-key the best people on their team.
They were two of the top prospects coming into the season, as opposed to a 5th round, a 4th round, and
undrafted.
Yeah. Or 2nd round.
Now let's do real quick before we wrap up here.
Yeah.
Percentage chance for each one. We'll start with Jones. Percentage chance you see him becoming a star in the national. And you could use stuff. Let's just say a Pro Bowl. Let's give it the Pro Bowl caliber.
Okay.
Offensive tackle. What
First, any player, even a first-round pick becoming a Pro Bowler is not that high a chance.
Right.
So I'm going to say for him, 8%.
That's what I swear to God. I was thinking 8%.
That's funny, see? Great minds think alike.
G. Bush.
You know, I got more Kool-Aid in me.
Yeah.
25.
By the way, 8% is pretty high for a fifth. What was he, a fifth? Fourth round pick.
Because
I mean, what percentage of fourth round picks become Pro Bowlers? Probably not high. Probably not 8%.
Reason I got 25 is
Yeah.
50-50 per opposition that you play. Like, right? So
Yeah.
that 50%. And then if you play, I'm going to take that down a little bit more. If you are a player, you got an opportunity, to see if you can be a Pro Bowler. I'm going to go with 25%. I like his skills. I like his size. And the thing about when you're voting for Pro Bowlers, what people don't understand, you got to have the press. And shout out to everybody who this guy's awesome. He's good. He had a steal in the 4th round, so his name is already out there. All he got to do is play well.
That's true. DTR?
Before we do that, I just looked, and this is a one draft class comparison, but 2021. So 2 years ago, 2 4th-round picks from that class have made a Pro Bowl. Any idea who they are? I'll give you 30 seconds.
That's less than 8%, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's extra 4th-round picks because there's a lot of compensatory picks in that round, too.
In 2021?
Yeah, that's the year the Browns took James Hudson and Tommy Togiai in the 4th round. Neither of those two are the 2 Pro Bowlers.
No. I have no idea. You guys?
I couldn't even venture a guess.
No.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, my God. What a steal. Wow.
And Ramondre Stevenson, who made a Pro Bowl
really
last year.
good play. Amon-Ra St. Brown. My God, he is so good.
And the Browns took, I think they took.
What you just said, Hudson and Togiai.
But then they take Schwartz over him?
Oh, yeah, they took
Schwartz.
Schwartz.
A 3rd-round pick.
Schwartz was taking like 30 picks before Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Pick
Oh,
91.
my God.
The year before, in
Yeah.
2020, I'm looking again. I only see no 4th-round picks or Pro Bowlers.
Was there no Pro Bowl in 2020 because of COVID?
That might be it.
There was no game, but I think they picked the guys.
Well, I just mean I've made a Pro Bowl in their careers to this point.
Okay, so yeah. So
And I'm back to 2019 real quick.
Yeah.
Max Crosby was a 4th-round pick. He's made a Pro Bowl. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has made a Pro Bowl. The Browns took Tony Pollard, made a Pro Bowl last year.
Yeah, he's making another.
Yeah. So those are 3.
So that's
in the last,
5 guys in over a 3-year span. So out of about 100 guys.
No, more because there's 45 picks of the compensatory. So
Okay, so out of 120 guys,
Yeah.
about 5 made it. That's like 3%. So even our 8% is pretty generous.
Yeah.
what's your percentage chance that DTR becomes a star?
Star,
2%.
0.1%. How many quarterbacks?
What about starting? How about this? The DTR becomes not like a fill-in starting quarterback, but
top
actually
25 starting
wins a
quarterback.
starting quarterback job in the NFL for a team that's not like Arizona right now, officially attempting to tank.
The last time that happened, you got to go back and look what.
Wasn't Romo a 5th-round pick?
I don't think Romo was drafted, was he?
Oh, he was undrafted. What was Dak? Was Dak a 4th round?
Dak was a 4th
Dak was a
rounder.
4th-round
Kirk
pick.
Cousins, I think, was a 4th rounder.
Yep.
Correct.
And
Matt
then
Castle,
obviously Brady. Yeah, but Matt Castle was never really a starter.
Garoppolo. I don't know what round he was.
I think he was
third.
second or third. Most of the starters in the NFL were 1st and 2nd round
Yeah,
picks.
you know what it is.
His odds of being a legitimate starter in the NFL, 8%.
G. Bush, real quick, because we got to do one more.
5.
What's your percentage?
Wow,
5?
even lower.
Jason?
2.
2.
And last but not least, we have 90 seconds before we wrap. Also, huge numbers again today. Shout out to you. I'm talking to you specifically, not the person next to you, for tuning in today.
Thanks,
Amani
everybody.
Bates to become a starting 3 in the NBA. What percentage chance?
A starting 3? You don't have to be that good. You could be,
25.
The Cavs' current starting 3 isn't any good.
That's fair. What's to be the bar?
To become I would say like
it's really hard. I don't want to say all-star because there are some really, really good players who have never made an all-star.
He's never going to be an all-star.
So I would say 25% starting.
To become, how about a top 20?
Top 23?
Three player.
Okay.
I'll say 0.7%.
Oh, I'd go higher than that. I'll give him 5%.
Okay.
I got it at 10%.
So the most likely is G with DeJuan Jones.
25%.
G's highest on all of them. Go figure.
No, he wasn't.
I was lower. DTR is 5.
No, of the 3 of us.
Once you change DTR to just the top starter, I actually went to 8%, which was probably high.
But in general, my optimism was higher at 25 to 8%. That's a lot. That's a lot of deviation.
If you said DeJuan Jones a starter, I'd say like 90%.
Yeah.
That is it. We'll see you in overtime. Big numbers again today. You guys are the best. Peace.